Welcome to Fanfiction Audiobook. Dragon Ball Dark Dimension at the beginning. Chapter 61. Following the above, in order to cultivate the spirit of God, Chengyu came to the world of the god of destruction and exchanged delicious food for Whis to guide his cultivation. The spirit of God can indeed improve a large part of one's strength, but if you want to explore and cultivate by yourself, you may not be able to cultivate successfully. And Chengyu's system is temporarily unreliable, so he can only find Whis himself. I don't know if Whis only knows that kind of cultivation, or if I am the same as Vegeta and Sun Wukong in Whis' eyes. This cultivation method is exactly the same as the original plot. After getting up every day, I cook delicious food, then clean up, wipe the fish tank of the prophecy fish, and then mow the lawn, and then help the sleeping Beerus change the sheets. The most thrilling job is to help the god of destruction Beerus change the sheets. It is simply a high-risk job. There are alarm clocks that explode when touched, and from time to time, they are affected by the destructive energy released accidentally by the god of destruction Beerus. The most difficult thing is not to wake up Beerus. In order to complete this high-risk task, Chengyu thought for a long time, and then decided to calm the divine energy in his body and transform into a Super Saiyan, then use the divine energy to set off Beerus in the air, change the bed sheets, and finally slowly retract his breath and put Beerus back on the bed. This set of actions consumes much more divine energy and mental power than fighting with the enemy. It is necessary to concentrate on mental power control, calm the heart so that the energy does not riot, and accurately control the divine energy. In the end, every link cannot go wrong. In short, it is very difficult. Hey, Whis, I've done it. The first work is to train the mind to be calm, and we can start the next stage. Chengyu took a break and teleported to Whis and said. Okay, then you wear this gravity suit and walk around the destroyer realm. Oh, by the way, the road will slowly disappear, and if you fall down, you really can't be saved. Also, you have to walk this punch normally, you can't transform. Whis waved his scepter and turned into something like a weight, which could just be lifted with both hands. And that's not the end. Another gravity suit was put on Chengyu, and this one was completely different from the one Chengyu got as a reward from the system. This one is made of energy, and the most important thing is that Chengyu found that this energy is even purer and more advanced than the divine energy he used. Now think about the gravity suit at home. That one is purely to increase gravity, so that your body has a burden so that you can meet the requirements of training. Chengyu held the weight-like thing in both hands, and then walked forward step by step with difficulty. In order to make himself stronger, to become the strongest, and also to protect the people around him, Chengyu gritted his teeth and walked step by step under this belief. By the time he finally finished the punch, he was sweating profusely, not only physically but also mentally. Chengyu was still able to hold on to his breath, and took out the magic beans from his pocket with difficulty and swallowed them, instantly recovering his physical strength and standing up alive again. At this time, Whis came over, looked at Chengyu and said directly. Now tell me about your feelings after training. Let's see if you have trained seriously. Hey, this gravity suit suppressed my strength, and it is filled with a very pure and advanced energy. I can't mobilize this energy for the time being. In addition to the first time, I found that after recovering from this fatigue, my mental and physical strength are slowly increasing, and the energy of this gravity is still strengthening my body. After Chengyu finished speaking, Whis was not too surprised, but nodded, and then said. Actually, it's similar to what you said. This gravity suit is made up of divine power. As for why you can't use it, it's because you are using divine energy now, and your body can't bear the divine power. Quote. By the way, today's training ends here. After training every day, you can choose to spar with me or feel this divine power first. Here's a suggestion for you. You can gradually develop the divine energy you use first, so that your body can adapt to it after the divine energy becomes pure, and finally you can try to mobilize the divine power in this gravity suit. After saying that, Whis didn't stay, but floated away again, and returned to the other side under an uncle and sat there drinking tea. Chengyu looked around and found a big tree to sit on the ground and began to meditate in order to cultivate his mental power and divine energy. When Chengyu used the divine energy, he naturally transformed into the form of the Super Saiyan God. Chengyu didn't care, but cultivated his mental power and developed the divine energy in his body. At night, Cheng Yu just lay under the big tree, looking at the starry sky above his head and feeling a lot of emotion. On the other side, number 18 was doing it in the house while eating dinner. Weiss was also in the room watching number 18 prepare the food. Doesn't the original plot say that Super Saiyan Blue is a Super Saiyan covered with God's aura? I have tried for so long and never succeeded once. Cheng Yu was really angry. This personal experience is indeed different from the introduction and other people's talk that he read on the internet. I am the host, don't you know, to develop the God's aura first before integrating the energy of the Super Saiyan. I can't stand it. Dog system, you still dare to come out. What you said, then why don't you give these things to me directly as a reward? Isn't it the incompetence of your system? Cheng Yu cursed in his heart, as if he had suffered a great injustice. I am speechless. This host is too difficult to lead. If it goes on like this, it will be destroyed when it is tired, and we will perish together. No, I'm just kidding, System Master. Don't mind me. I'm just complaining. Don't give me any suggestions. If you don't have this thing, you'll be barefoot. There's a big difference between this and wearing shoes. Cheng Yu has spent a long time on the Destroyer planet. During this period, under the careful guidance of Weiss, his progress on the path of God has been rapid. I still remember that at the beginning, Cheng Yu was very unfamiliar with the control of the divine energy. The mysterious and powerful force surged in his body, making it difficult for him to control it. Every time he tried to control the divine energy, he would feel powerless, and even exhausted himself because of the loss of control of the divine energy. However, Cheng Yu never had the idea of giving up. He practiced hard day after day, constantly exploring and trying. Weiss was always by his side, giving him precise guidance and encouragement. Gradually, Cheng Yu was able to initially control the flow of divine energy. He could let this power run in his body according to his wishes, and it was no longer as chaotic and disordered as before. As time went on, Cheng Yu made more and more progress. Now, he is ready to develop the transformation of using the divine energy. This is a huge breakthrough and the result of his hard work. During the practice, Cheng Yu's eyes became more determined, and his posture became more upright and confident. He knew that the road ahead was still long, but he was ready to meet all challenges. He believed that in the near future, he would be able to take his strength to a higher level by transforming into the Spirit of God. After a hard practice, Cheng Yu had a bold idea in his mind, to combine the first stage of Super Saiyan with the Spirit of God, in order to make a qualitative leap in the power of Super Saiyan. He knew that this was a risky attempt, but with his persistent pursuit of power, he was determined to give it a try. Cheng Yu found a quiet and peaceful place, surrounded by silence, with only the rustling sound of the breeze gently blowing through the grass. He sat cross-legged, adjusted his breathing, and calmed his mind completely. After he was ready, Cheng Yu first activated the form of Super Saiyan. In an instant, his golden hair stood up, and a powerful aura emanated from his body, his muscles were tense, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Then, he began to try to guide the divine energy in his body to blend with the power of the Super Saiyan. At first, the divine energy and the energy of the Super Saiyan seemed to be somewhat repelled. Cheng Yu felt a burst of pain in his body, and beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. But he gritted his teeth, endured the pain, and constantly adjusted the rhythm of the fusion of the two. With Cheng Yu's unremitting efforts, the divine energy gradually began to accept the energy of the Super Saiyan. He could feel a new and more powerful force being born in his body. Oh, you want to change your original Super Saiyan transformation into a transformation using divine energy. Interesting. At this time, Weiss, who was silently watching all this not far away, showed an expression of both expectation and nervousness on his face. Cheng Yu continued to concentrate on controlling this fusion power, and the light around his body flickered, and his breath became more and more powerful and mysterious. Cheng Yu took a deep breath, and the muscles of his whole body instantly tensed up, like an arrow about to leave the string. A strong and powerful aura slowly rose from his body, starting as a trickle, then gradually gathered into a mighty river. His hair stood up, and the golden light began to bloom faintly. The light gradually strengthened and enveloped his entire body. This was the initial form of the Super Saiyan. However, this was just the beginning. As Cheng Yu continued to dig deep into his potential and fully mobilized the hidden power in his body, the golden light became more and more dazzling, and began to undergo wonderful changes, gradually changing from gold to deep blue. Circles of visible energy ripples formed around his body, like layers of waves stirred up by a boulder thrown into a calm lake. The ground was overwhelmed by this strong pressure, trembling slightly, and tiny cracks appeared, spreading around. Cheng Yu's face was intertwined with two completely different expressions of pain and perseverance. Every cell was bearing the impact of this surging huge energy, as if it was about to be torn apart. But his will was as solid as a rock, and he had no intention of retreating. He clenched his teeth, veins popped on his forehead, and he clenched his fists, his nails digging deep into his palms, but he didn't feel any pain. In this extreme torment, Cheng Yu roared, and the sound seemed to penetrate the clouds and shake the world. Finally, the light completed the transformation at the moment of reaching its peak, and Cheng Yu successfully transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. His hair burned like a blazing blue flame, and every strand of hair flashed a terrifying light. Finally, hard work paid off. Cheng Yu successfully integrated the transformation of Super Saiyan and God's aura into one, and now it is more like a breakthrough from normal to Super Saiyan transformation. It's just that the normal state has been replaced by Super Saiyan God, and now it is a Super Saiyan who has surpassed Super Saiyan God. Now, Cheng Yu has successfully transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, and his appearance is very different from Super Saiyan God. His hair and eyebrows are all clear sky blue, as pure and deep as a cloudless sky. His pupils have turned into a mysterious dark blue, like an endless deep-sea whirlpool, which makes people sink into it. The blue aura surrounds his body, which complements the star-like particles unique to the breath of God, as if all the bright stars in the universe are gathered in one body. Crystal drops of water flow from time to time in the flames, like morning dew sparkling in the morning light. Compared with the breath of humans in Super Saiyan states, his flames flow much slower, but are more stable and restrained. There are also very slight electric sparks, dotted with stars, adding a bit of mystery and danger. His aura is divided into two layers, from the outside to the inside, sky blue and white. The outer sky blue is like a deep ocean, embracing everything, the inner white is like pure snowflakes, noble and sacred. At this moment, Cheng Yu stood there. Ordinary people may not feel the huge aura, but he exuded a powerful aura and awe-inspiring pressure, which made people dare not look directly at him. Cheng Yu carefully felt his body. Except for the fact that the speed of consuming the divine energy was a little fast, it might be because he had just transformed, and his body bore such a large amount of divine energy, which was accompanied by some seriousness. The burst and breath were very perfect, except for the consumption and burden. The consumption and burden can actually be alleviated or even changed from the subsequent practice and the slow development of this form, but the recovery of the divine energy may become a big problem. The transformation of the Super Saiyan God does not consume much, so the divine energy in the body is still enough to use, and it can even recover after a period of recovery. But now the consumption of this transformation is very huge in exchange for the burst. If the divine energy in the body is consumed, even the Super Saiyan God may not be able to transform. Moreover, Cheng Yu felt this transformation himself, and he had a very similar view to the original plot, that is, leaking. This is exactly the same as when he just transformed into a Super Saiyan, and if he continues to develop into full power later, this problem will generally not occur. At this time, Cheng Yu immediately lifted the transformation after feeling it. It may be that his normal combat power and physical strength are not very strong now. Now the transformation is a high burden, high consumption transformation, and the body's reaction is very huge. But Cheng Yu is a practice madman. These problems can be slowly changed after later training. Cheng Yu is also thinking, now using the energy of the Super Saiyan to fuse the spirit, then can this Super Saiyan Blue be called the first level blue transformation? Just like the ordinary Super Saiyan, there will be a Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Today's Super Saiyan Blue is enough for Cheng Yu to adapt to practice for a long time. In order to fully develop this form, Cheng Yu must practice for a long time, both for himself to completely adapt, and for the next stage to lay a good foundation. It seems that it took a long time from the first transformation to the full development in the original plot, and it was only fully developed after continuous training in battle. Although Cheng Yu can now fight with Whis, Whis has never really fought with Cheng Yu. It seems that whether it is comics or animations, it was only in the life and death battle of Zamasu that it broke through to the perfect Super Saiyan Blue Level 1, solving the problem of leakage. And there is also a huge bug problem belonging to the Saiyan, that is, whether it is the transformation of God's Chi or the ordinary transformation, as long as you are angry enough, the combat power will even surpass the current transformation. This point can be said to be vivid in the animation. It has been a long time since Chengyu followed WIS to practice. During this time, Chengyu has worked hard to solve the leakage problem of Super Saiyan Blue. Even Chengyu himself doubts whether this form can really be developed. Because Chengyu has been solving the leakage problem, but in addition to improving the quality of energy, improving physical strength, and improving the transformation time, the leakage has not been solved. This problem is always a big problem. I really don't know how Sun Wukong and Vegeta in the original plot and comics solved it. Just when Chengyu was training and researching on the Destroyer planet, a group of people in another dimension of the Dragon Ball universe were secretly planning something. In this dark palace, full of evil spirits, a guy with horns on his head and scales on his body sat in the hall and said to the people below. I remember there were still some demons left in the positive dimension, right? This time, we just sent them to talk about the strength of the positive universe and see if those guys will take action. I just woke up from pure water, and I also need to recover. You go down. And the people below said in unison. Yes, Lord Dragon God. That's right, a conspiracy against the territory of the King of All has begun, and a catastrophe has come again. Ding, the system issues a task, destroy Majin Buu, reward Senzu Beans X100, perfect control of breath, and complete fusion of the power and blood of the giant ape. Chengyu heard the sudden sound of the system during meditation and did not react for a while. When he came to his senses, he found that it was the system that issued the task. That system, can you introduce the functions of your system to me? Why don't I understand it until now? Your system has no rewards or tasks for a long time. I feel that your system has a weak presence. After the update, this system will only release tasks from time to time. If there are no tasks, you can also find some strong people to fight. There will be rewards after winning. Of course, each person is limited to once, and the combat power is much lower than the host. It will not be counted. In addition, the reward for the host to eliminate the opponent is better than the reward for victory. Oh, I see, I have been on the Destroyer planet for a long time, so I should go back and take a look. Although it will take another year or so for Majin Buu to appear, I still need to rest. Chengyu thinker, should he try to completely break through the Super Saiyan Blue to full power and solve the problem of air leakage? After thinking about it, there is still time anyway, so it's okay to try it, so he stood up and closed his eyes. Chengyu mobilized the divine energy in his body to cover the field state, red light surrounded his body, his hair and pupils gradually turned red, and Chengyu successfully transformed into the Super Saiyan God. After reaching this step, Chengyu took a deep breath, opened his eyes, and mobilized the energy of the Super Saiyan to merge with the divine energy, and then the blue light enveloped Chengyu. The blue light flashed by, and the flames surrounding Chengyu changed from red to blue, and his hair and pupils also turned blue. At this time, Chengyu did not take the next step, but stopped. After thinking for a while, Chengyu completely released the divine energy in his body and no longer controlled it. After this step, the blue flames surrounding Chengyu's body gradually formed a particularly large flame that soared into the sky. Then, Chengyu raised his breath again, released it completely again, and then took a deep breath again, took all the breath back into his body and stopped releasing it. After this step, Chengyu consumed a lot of mental energy in order to retract the divine energy and control it from leaking out at that moment, so Chengyu stopped for a while, and after fully controlling it, he transferred the divine energy in his body to the whole body. As the blue light gradually enveloped Chengyu, the divine energy in Chengyu's body was also distributed throughout his body, and the light gradually absorbed the process into his body, and Chengyu also ended his action at this time. Success. Fortunately, I used mental power to completely control it this time, otherwise the breath at that moment was gathered in my body, and my body's strength could not adapt at all. Chengyu raised his hand and looked at it, then closed his eyes and carefully felt the changes in his body. That's right, it was really developed, Super Saiyan Blue First Stage Full Power. From the outside world's point of view, the only difference between Cheng Yu at this time and the Super Saiyan Blue that had just transformed was that the flames surrounding Cheng Yu's body were taken into his body, and his muscles seemed a little more powerful than when he just transformed. And Cheng Yu felt it and found that he had indeed become a complete body. This transformation had a great impact on the body. The burden and consumption are very balanced, and the problem of a large amount of air leakage in the battle has been solved. There will be no fighting, consuming half of the divine energy and leaking half of the divine energy. Cheng Yu raised his hand and used energy to create a clone, and then began to fight with himself. The two flew to the control and started to fight. The first clone hit Cheng Yu's stomach with a straight punch. Cheng Yu dodged the fist and punched the clone's back with blue energy. The clone was knocked to the ground by this punch, raising a large cloud of dust. Cheng Yu did not give the clone a chance to breathe, teleported behind the clone, and kicked it into the air. The clone quickly adjusted its posture and launched a Qigong wave to shoot at Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu crossed his hands to block, and then counterattacked, sending out several Qigong waves in succession. The clone dodged flexibly, and then rushed towards Cheng Yu at a very fast speed, trying to attack at close range. Cheng Yu raised the corners of his mouth, easily avoided, and seized the clone's flaw, gave him a powerful uppercut, knocking him back. The clone crashed into the distant mountain, and the entire mountain exploded instantly. Cheng Yu watched the clone slowly dissipate, and was satisfied with his own strength. In the process just now, Cheng Yu found that now his moves can release the Super Saiyan Blue God's energy at any time and anywhere to attack, and he can also retract it into his body at any time after the attack, so there will be no attack that consumes too much energy of the God's energy in one attack. It can be said that it is currently in the state of true Super Saiyan Blue First Order full power. As for whether it can continue to develop or even evolve in this form in the future, Cheng Yu doesn't want to know. Because there are still system tasks, and his wife is waiting for him. When he came to the Destroyer planet, in addition to practicing and resting, there is little other time to take lazily to live in the world of two people, so Cheng Yu just went back to rest for a while. After Cheng Yu explained to Weiss, Cheng Yu found lazily and took her back to Earth to stay. Finally, he can go home. In fact, lazily is not very bored on the Destroyer planet. In addition to discussing food with Weiss will also guide lazily in his spare time. Although the time of training is not very long each time, it is still a world of difference compared to before, and it can even be said that he is better than his brother now. Goodbye Weiss, I will take you to eat delicious food on Earth next time you come, see you next time. After saying that, Cheng Yu took No 18's little hand and teleported back to his home. In fact, Cheng Yu's teleportation is already the second level, so now as long as he knows the coordinates or even the places he has been to, he can move freely in a universe without feeling the breath. Cheng Yu returned to Earth, and there was still more than half a year before the No. 1 martial arts tournament. Cheng Yu also brought lazily back to his home from the Destroyer planet. It's still comfortable to be back home. Cheng Yu sighed. Actually, it's all right. The God I thought of and the God I see now are completely different from what I know, so it doesn't matter where I stay. Number 18 next to him came over and lay in Cheng Yu's arms. You don't know, I practice every day to become stronger, and there is not even any entertainment there. In order to protect you well in the future, I must become the strongest person. Cheng Yu stroked No 18's hair and said. By the way, now that we are back home, there is still one most important thing that has not been resolved. Let me ask you, do you want a child? Upon hearing this, No 18's face instantly turned red, and he stammered. Well, it depends on you. To be honest, it's not impossible. Cheng Yu looked at number 18 who was lying in his arms, and he was instantly angry. He immediately stood up and picked up number 18, and then walked towards the bedroom while saying. So, you agree, I will definitely satisfy you. Not big after a while, two martial artists in the room began to spar. The battle was so intense that there were continuous shouts, not only the shouts of girls, but also the panting of boys. You like to see this kind of bloody plot, but I really can't write it. I'm just a single dog. To be honest, I haven't even been in love. How can I write it? So don't force me, a poor, ugly, short single dog. At this time, Sun Wukong reclaimed a few acres of land at home under the strict discipline of his wife Chi-Chi, and farmed at home, but who is Sun Wukong? He is a warmonger. As long as he leaves Chi-Chi's line, he can't rest and naturally starts to practice. Today, Sun Wukong also found that his own practice may have reached a bottleneck, so he thought about it and decided to try to break through. So Sun Wukong stood in his own field and began to release his breath and began to try to break through and transform. In the vast field of his own home, Sun Wukong stood quietly. The breeze blew gently, blowing the green grass beside the field, and the surroundings were peaceful and tranquil. Suddenly, Sun Wukong's eyes became extremely firm, as if he had made some kind of determination. He took a deep breath, and the muscles of his whole body began to tremble slightly, and a faint breath slowly emanated from his body. Then, his pupils suddenly contracted, and a low roar came from his throat. At the same time, golden light began to flicker at the roots of his hair, and his hair grew wildly at a speed visible to the naked eye, like a ignited fuse. Every hair seemed to have life, standing straight up, and bursting with dazzling golden light, like a burning golden flame. As the light spread, Sun Wukong's muscles began to swell rapidly, and blue veins rose like dragons, and powerful power surged in his body. His bones made a crackling sound, as if he was under great pressure, and seemed to be undergoing some kind of transformation. The energy fluctuations became stronger and stronger, and the surrounding land began to tremble violently. The soil in the field was lifted up, forming small waves of soil. Sun Wukong's breath swept around like a storm, making the air hot and restless. At the moment when this energy reached its peak, Sun Wukong's figure was completely shrouded in golden light. After the light dissipated, he successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 3. The long golden hair danced in the wind, like a dazzling golden waterfall, falling from the top of his head to his waist. His eyes were full of desire for battle and firm belief, as if the world was filled with endless power because of his transformation, which was daunting. Chi-Chi, who came to her field to deliver food to her man, was furious when she saw the field destroyed by Sun Wukong in the center of the field. Goku-san, look at what has happened here, fix it up quickly. Hearing this, Sun Wukong immediately stopped transforming and began to fill up the hole caused by the transformation, looking at Chi-Chi who was coming aggressively. The prince who was training hard in the gravity room in Exodus also felt the surge of Sun Wukong's aura just now. The prince didn't say much but frowned slightly, talking to himself. Sun Wukong. I'm the Prince of Saiyans, and you're just a low-level warrior. Wait, I will definitely defeat you next time we meet. After that, he doubled the gravity and continued to train hard. His self-esteem didn't allow him to admit defeat, he is the proud Saiyan prince. The powerful aura that just appeared in an instant and then disappeared was felt by everyone on Earth, but it disappeared too quickly, so everyone could not do anything after they could no longer feel it. There was an exception, that is, Cheng Yu, who had just finished exercising and was lying in his yard and flirting with number 18, felt it. Wait, this is the aura of Sun Wukong, and it seems to be the aura of Super Saiyan 3. Did he break through again? Cheng Yu had to sigh at the correctness of time. The original plot was also a breakthrough, but it was after Sun Wukong's death on the North Kai King God planet, and now it was his own breakthrough. What's wrong with you? It's okay, I just felt that Sun Wukong seemed to have become stronger again. Cheng Yu explained casually and started his little life of flirting with each other again, and life was so happy. On the other side, the negative universe was also planning to cause some trouble to the main universe, and the demon world on Earth was also ready to move. In the dark corner of the demon world, where the sun never shines, Babbidi's narrow and evil eyes flash with creepy evil and extreme greed. He is racking his brains and carefully planning a shocking conspiracy that will shock the whole world, to revive the terrifying Majin Buu. Babbidi is in a dark secret room full of strange atmosphere. His bony hands are waving, and he is muttering to the ancient and mysterious magic circle. Beside him, there are all kinds of mysterious instruments and potions with disgusting strange smells. His voice is low and hoarse, like a terrifying call from the endless abyss of hell. Every note seems to carry a curse, which makes people tremble with fear. In order to realize this crazy and terrible plan, Babbidi will do anything. He frantically searched for powerful energy everywhere, and used cruel means and seductive lies to drive those under his control to work for him desperately. His mind was as meticulous as an invisible big net. Every step of his action was carefully calculated repeatedly, and every detail was considered by him without any loopholes. He had only one goal, which was to make the terrifying Majin Buu, who had brought endless disasters and fear to the world, reappear in the world and become a powerful and deadly weapon in his hands to conquer the world and satisfy his endless ambitions. Hey, system, can you introduce me to the types of Saiyan blood? Why is the legendary Super Saiyan blood so awesome? Since you asked sincerely, my omnipotent system will naturally give you an answer. First, ordinary Saiyan blood. In simple terms, it is the blood of ordinary people among Saiyans. As for the current Saiyans, they are gradually passed down from the pure Saiyan blood in the past, which may lead to the current blood being impure, or the low blood concentration causing the current Saiyans to be weaker. Sun Wukong has this kind of blood, but his blood is very pure, resulting in higher potential, so he is different from others. Second, royal blood. The blood passed down from the king of the Saiyan clan, transforming into a giant ape without losing reason, and it is easy to control emotions after all, because the ancient Saiyans were all irritable and tyrannical, so the royal blood is different and can control emotions more rationally. Third, the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. It is a legend of the Saiyan race. Legend has it that a legendary Super Saiyan will be born every 1,000 years, and each one is a very terrifying existence, with high potential, easy to get angry, and the more they fight, the stronger they become. Of course, because of the terrifying power, if the emotions are not controlled well, it is easy to be irrational, but the effect is that the more angry, the stronger the body is. The strength is extremely high, but it is easily affected by emotions. Fourth, ancient Saiyan bloodline. The bloodline passed down from the ancient Saiyans is the bloodline of the real Saiyan race. Although the potential is high, it is easily affected by the angry and violent emotions in the Saiyan bloodline, and the physical strength may not be as good as that of the legendary Super Saiyan bloodline. Fifth, mutated bloodline. This kind of bloodline is generally divided into two types. The first type is the combination of Saiyans and other races that still leads to bloodline mutation, and the second type is the fusion of Saiyans and Saiyans that leads to bloodline mutation. Cheng Yu's bloodline is of this type, because Vegito is also a fusion warrior, and Cheng Yu, who inherited Vegito's template, naturally replaced the original ordinary Saiyan bloodline. This bloodline has high potential, strong combat power, can reasonably control emotions, has a very strong learning ability, and has a very high physical strength. There are also many possibilities for the bloodline that mutates due to the combination of Saiyans and other races. For example, Son Gohan's bloodline not only has the pure bloodline and extremely strong talent potential of Saiyans due to mutation, but also has the brain power and learning ability of Earthlings. Well, the overall Saiyan bloodline can be divided into these types, and talent and hard work are indispensable. Cheng Yu was also asking at home out of boredom, but he didn't expect there were so many tricks in it, which made Cheng Yu stunned. Wow, it's really NB, I didn't expect there are so many tricks in Saiyans. Cheng Yu thought about it again, so what kind of child would he have with no 18? What if he is not a Saiyan? Will he be powerless for the rest of his life? Ding, don't worry about what you're thinking about, you still have my super invincible and unparalleled system. I really don't understand why you, a system, are so narcissistic. So that means you can help me replace the blood of my future child, or directly improve the talent potential, right? Ding, yeah, so if you defeat your opponent in the future and the reward is the blood of other races, this system can also fuse it into his body. What if there is a fusion of the blood of a god? Hee. Cheng Yu didn't dare to think about it anymore. If it could really be fused, then it would be like giving birth to a god. A long time passed again, and in the blink of an eye, the time for the world's #1 martial arts meeting had arrived, but everyone didn't know about the crisis behind this time. Although Cheng Yu was enjoying the gentle countryside at home, he still didn't fall behind in his cultivation, but the more he practiced, the more problems he would have. For example, what are the differences between divine power, divine energy, breath, and energy? What is the connection between the blood of Saiyans and the giant ape? Can mortals surpass the so-called gods by cultivating their energy to the extreme? All these questions are lingering in Cheng Yu's mind, but this also means confusion about his own powerful strength and denial of his own strength. So Cheng Yu decided to ask Whis. After saying hello to his wife, he came to the planet of the god of destruction. Whis had already noticed the arrival of teleportation, so he asked immediately, "What's wrong, Mr. Cheng Yu, what are you doing this time?" Cheng Yu sat opposite Whis, and faced with the questions surrounding him, he asked without hesitation, "Whis, I want to ask about energy, breath, and transformation into a Super Saiyan. How is the energy of the God of God, or even the energy of God, or the power of God, divided? I don't know how to practice these goals at home." Weiss smiled at Cheng Yu's question, and then asked, "So, Mr. Cheng Yu, what is your goal?" "Well, Weiss, my goal is definitely to protect my current life no matter what method or energy I use, and if possible, I want to break my own so-called limit." Weiss listened to Cheng Yu's words as if it was the first time he heard such words. He was a little surprised, but he remained calm and continued to answer. "I have to say that you have a very good goal, but you are not clear about your goal choice now, right? Well, you also discovered Weiss, the energy of the Saiyans, the practice of the energy of God, these things are too many and too complicated. I don't want to give up the way to become stronger, but if I am not sure of a single goal, I can't bite off more than I can chew. So I came to ask for your opinion." Weiss thought for a while, and then asked, "So, Mr. Cheng Yu, show me all your current transformations." Quote. In an empty field, Cheng Yu stood in front of Whis, his eyes full of confidence and determination. Cheng Yu took a deep breath, his body trembled slightly, and his golden hair stood up instantly, shining, and he successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 1. His muscles bulged slightly, a strong aura emanated from him, and his golden hair fluttered in the wind. He shouted, "Whis, this is Super Saiyan 1. Then, Cheng Yu exerted force again, the light on his body became stronger, his hair became longer and straighter, and the energy fluctuations around his body became more obvious. His eyes became sharper, and he was surrounded by lightning and more majestic golden air waves. This is Super Saiyan 2. Whis looked at him with interest and nodded slightly. Cheng Yu did not pause and continued to increase his strength. He was shining all over, and his golden hair was as long as his waist, like a burning golden flame. His aura was violent and powerful, making the air around him seem to solidify. This is Super Saiyan 3. Quote. Then, Cheng Yu lifted the transformation and returned to normal, and then spoke. "Whis, this is the transformation of the Saiyan bloodline, Super Saiyan 4. Cheng Yu stood in an open space, his eyes closed, his expression solemn. He took a deep breath, as if he wanted to inhale the surrounding air into his lungs, then clenched his fists, and the muscles of his whole body instantly tensed up. He began to mobilize the hidden power in his bloodline and the mysterious energy connected with the giant ape. In an instant, a strong red light gushed out of his body, tightly wrapping his entire body. The light was hot and powerful, as if it would burn everything around it. However, the light did not last too long and began to gradually dissipate. When the light completely disappeared, and Cheng Yu's appearance had changed dramatically. His originally black hair became even messier and longer, casually draped over his shoulders, like an unruly gust of wind. His chest and palms were covered with a layer of red body hair, which was a symbol of the primitive wildness of the Saiyans. Whis looked at Cheng Yu's appearance and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes, and then he said, "This breath is indeed very powerful, a transformation different from the god's root, and the strength and power of the body are very strong. Mr. Cheng Yu, are you really not considering the candidate for the god of destruction?" Cheng Yu also lifted the transformation at this time, and then said, "Whis, don't tease me, it's best for me to practice honestly by myself. Relying on other external things is not my own. Then there is the power you taught me, the transformation of the god's aura, first of all, the Super Saiyan God." Quote. Cheng Yu slowly closed his eyes and began to adjust his breathing, letting his heart gradually calm down. Then, his body trembled slightly, and a mysterious and powerful force quietly surged in his body. Suddenly, a soft red light appeared around Cheng Yu, and this light was like a mist in the morning light, gently enveloping him. His hair began to flash with red electric light, and every strand of hair seemed to have life. As the light continued to increase, Cheng Yu's body gradually changed. His muscle lines became more smooth, exuding a sacred breath. His eyes became deep and clear, as if he could see through everything in the world. When the light reached its peak, Cheng Yu successfully transformed into the Super Saiyan God. His hair turned a bright red, and the whole person looked more energetic and younger. There is one last one, Super Saiyan Blue. Cheng Yu stood there quietly, his eyes closed, his expression focused and solemn. He took a deep breath, as if to take all the spiritual energy between heaven and earth into his body, and raise the divine energy in his body to the extreme. In an instant, Cheng Yu's body was completely wrapped in a dazzling blue light. The light was strong and hot, like a blue sun, illuminating everything around. In the light, Cheng Yu's figure was looming, full of mysterious atmosphere. Then, the light began to gradually dissipate, slowly receding like a tide. When the light completely disappeared, Cheng Yu's appearance had changed dramatically. His hair gradually turned into a deep and charming blue, falling softly on his shoulders, and every strand of hair was flashing with mysterious blue light. His eyebrows and pupils also turned blue, and the blue pupils were like a deep ocean, making people deeply trapped in it. At the same time, Cheng Yu was surrounded by surging blue air waves, which rolled and made bursts of whistling sounds. Cheng Yu lifted the transformation, and seeing that Weiss was still thinking, he came to Weiss and sat down again. Weiss came back to his senses, looked at Cheng Yu in front of him, and did not give the initial answer, but asked a question. Mr. Cheng Yu, which path do you think is powerful, or which path is suitable for you? Cheng Yu thought for a while, then said. Whether it is the transformation of Saiyan blood or the transformation of God's aura, they are different, and each has its own advantages. I am not sure about the direction of the two forms, so I may not be sure which path to choose. Wes smiled, and then said. In fact, whether it is a mortal or a god, the root is similar. The difference lies in how you enhance your own strength. I have also heard that the power of mortals exceeds that of the god of destruction, so no matter which path you take, it is your own choice. For example, the transformation of Saiyan blood is actually a very powerful aura, but if you want me to suggest, I would still suggest you go practice the god root, because you have spent a lot of time on the transformation of the god root, right? So this is my suggestion. Quote. Cheng Yu thought about it for a while. Although the goal was still unclear, there was still the original question, so he spoke again. Then Weiss, what about the original question? Can you answer me now? Wes smiled, drank a sip of the tea in front of him, and then said. Qi is the most fundamental energy in the body of living things. With practice or training, this energy can be freely manipulated. The difference between divine Qi and divine power is that divine power represents the sublimation of divine Qi, and divine Qi is the basic energy that constitutes divine power. Simply put, it is the divine Qi formed after the decomposition of divine power and the combination of the breath of ordinary people. Divine Qi is also the basis for ordinary people to want to practice divine power when they can't bear it. Cheng Yu listened to Weiss's words, and the whole person was messy, as if a statue was petrified in place. After another period of thinking and sorting out his thoughts, Cheng Yu spoke. Then my last question is, if I cultivate my aura to the extreme, can I defeat the person who uses divine power? Weiss also became interested. It seems that no one has tried this question before, and no one has succeeded in this way, but looking at Cheng Yu in front of him, he decided to give it a try. You have to find the answer to this question by yourself, because no one does it this way. God is God after all, and everyone thinks so. If you want to be the one who breaks the rules, then it depends on you. Cheng Yu seemed to be thinking again, but in fact it was not the case. Because he decided to try it himself, others did not succeed. It does not mean that I will not succeed, but I want to be the strongest man. So he said goodbye to Weiss and teleported back to his home on Earth. And when Cheng Yu just teleported away, Weiss smiled, and then said to himself. What a bold idea, I hope you can succeed. When Lord Beerus wakes up, you can give him a surprise. Can mortals really shake the gods? Can they surpass the so-called gods by their own strength? Can ordinary people become gods? No one has tried these questions, and even if they have failed. Otherwise, no one would not know the answers to these questions. Hey, system, how do you practice divine power? If I directly integrate it into the normal state, then does it mean that every form uses divine power instead of breath? Cheng Yu thought, even if his breath is cultivated to the extreme and cannot surpass the so-called gods, then I can replace it with divine power in the same way as gods, so that there is still a way out. Ding, I suggest that the host try the root of super race. Anyway, you have already started to practice the divine aura. Then if you practice super race well and wait until the day when you really master the divine power, won't it become a combination of divine power and super race? Is that so? Then it seems that I still need to practice in the state of Super Saiyan 4, that's the only way. Cheng Yu was thinking, because he had been practicing in the Super Saiyan 4 stage for a long time, but there was no sign of breakthrough, so he simply practiced Super Saiyan 4 to the extreme and see. On the other side, the world's first martial arts tournament is registering one after another today. RZ Warriors group is registering, even Sun Wukong's youngest son Sun Wuxian, and Vegeta's son Trunks are registering. In fact, Sun Wukong came to Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu had no children at home, and Cheng Yu considered not to interfere with the original plot, so he rejected Wukong and told him that he would go back to the universe to practice and would not be at home. Wukong saw that Cheng Yu was not interested, so he went to invite Vegeta and the others. Time flies so fast, it's the Majin Buu arc, I also have a home and family, and partners. It's been decades since I came here, I can't remember. Cheng Yu was also lamenting that time is really fast, so fast that he couldn't react. On the other side, number 18 seemed to have eaten something he shouldn't have eaten in the past 2 days, and felt a nausea, so he immediately went to the toilet. Cheng Yu saw No 18's reaction and felt something was wrong. Could a strong man on earth catch a cold? It was hard to believe, but seeing No 18's uncomfortable look, he immediately followed to take care of No 18. What's wrong, number 18, don't tell me you have a cold. It's impossible. Although number 18 was uncomfortable, he also knew what this phenomenon was, and he couldn't have a cold, but it was followed by surprise and unexpected emotions. Seeing her man's silly look, she said unhappily. What do you think this is? Don't you understand? What do I understand? You shouldn't have a cold. Is it a virus? Number 18 was speechless, really speechless, but when she thought that it might be her stomach that was reacting, she still explained. What do you think a girl's retching and stomach reaction are? You really don't know. What a silly man. No, a girl like this, no way. We have a child. Really? Cheng Yu finally reacted, but it was still unbelievable. It had been so long, and there had been no reaction. How could he suddenly react at this time? But what followed was a surprise. Cheng Yu had another little family in this world, and it was his own child. Wait a minute, I'll check it out for you, don't move, I'll take you there. Cheng Yu hurriedly began to prepare clothes and other things for number 18, ready to take him to the hospital for a checkup. Well, this has not been confirmed yet. And even if it is true, I can move by myself now. Let's go and take a look first. I also want to see if it is true. Number 18 touched his belly and looked at it lovingly, looking forward to it being true. In the deepest part of the bottomless demon world filled with endless darkness and mystery, the king of the demon world, Dapra, stood like a terrifying giant peak emitting suffocating pressure. His hideous and twisted face was looming in the weak light, like a demon from the abyss, and every line was full of cruelty and coldness. Those eyes burning with raging anger seemed to be able to burn all life into ashes in an instant. He was surrounded by rolling black magic power, and the powerful magic power fluctuations caused the surrounding space to be slightly distorted, as if the air was frozen into ice under his pressure. Beside Dapra, the evil wizard Babidi was like a venomous snake lurking in the shadows, and his skinny body exuded a strange breath. Babidi had a sly and sinister smile on his face, which was like lightning in the dark night, making people shudder, flashing with crazy and greedy light, as if they have seen the chaotic and bloody world after their conspiracy succeeded. In order to realize this terrible plan that is enough to plunge the whole world into an abyss of no return, Dapra mercilessly mobilized the darkest and most evil forces in the demon world. He waved his hands full of sharp thorns and issued a series of chilling orders. Driven by him, countless minions of the demon world frantically searched for various mysterious and evil magic tools. These magic tools exuded a disgusting smell, some were inlaid with strange gems, flashing with strange light, some were engraved with ancient and evil runes, as if telling endless curses. Babidi closed his eyes, holding the ancient magic scroll that exuded a decayed smell, and muttered something in his mouth. His voice was low and hoarse, as if it was the whisper of a demon from the depths of hell. Every syllable contained endless evil power, and the darkness around him seemed to surge with his spell. In order to enhance the effectiveness of magic, Babidi sacrificed the souls of countless innocent lives. Those souls wailed in pain, but could not break free from Babidi's evil bondage. They could only be ruthlessly devoured and became the source of energy to revive Majin Buu. With their joint efforts, an evil energy powerful enough to change the color of the world gradually gathered in this dark space. The breath of darkness spread like a surging tide, quickly covering the entire demon world. The already gloomy and terrifying demon world became even more depressing at this moment, as if all hope was completely swallowed up by this dark force. Finally, in a burst of creepy, soul-tearing light, the terrifying figure of Majin Buu began to slowly and vaguely appear. The endless evil and destructive breath revealed in the vague outline made Dapura and Babidi tremble with excitement. The world is about to face an unprecedented catastrophe, and the initiator of all this is waiting for the disaster with full expectations. At the scene of the world's first martial arts competition, the protagonists are fighting one by one, and the strength of the protagonists just attracted the attention of the King of the Kai. The King of the Kai has been observing in secret, and there is another person who is also observing. Yes, this person is the subordinate of the King of the Demon Realm, Dapur. The resurrection of Majin Buu requires a lot of energy, so he has set his eyes on the energy of the protagonists and is ready to absorb their energy to resurrect Majin Buu. In the vast and mysterious depths of the universe, silence and darkness shroud everything. At this time, a figure appeared stealthily, his figure looming in the darkness, and his eyes revealed cunning and evil. This person approached the cosmic barrier cautiously, his hands kept making mysterious gestures, and he muttered something. With a strange flash of light, he successfully opened the cosmic barrier and sneaked into it silently. When he arrived at the place where Majin Buu was resurrected, a hideous smile appeared on his face. He slowly raised his palm, and a powerful and evil force gathered in his palm. Then he injected this force into the body of Majin Buu, who had not yet been fully resurrected. Under the influence of this mysterious force, Majin Buu, who originally needed some time to be resurrected, was born ahead of time. Moreover, the aura exuded by Majin Buu at this moment was more than one level stronger than that in the original plot. His huge body was full of endless oppression, and he was surrounded by terrifying evil energy, as if he could devour the entire universe. This sudden change put the entire universe into a greater crisis. Just when the man had just crossed the cosmic barrier and returned to his original location, the angel's extremely keen perception instantly noticed this abnormality. He frowned slightly, carefully felt the energy fluctuations in the surrounding space, and soon captured a faint breath of negative energy. This trace of negative energy was extremely weak, but it could not escape the angel's well-trained perception ability. Angel Whis knew that this matter was serious, and dared not delay at all. He immediately flashed and rushed to the place where the high priest was at the fastest speed. Along the way, he thought to himself, how could this negative energy appear here? Is there some evil force at work in the dark? Thinking of this, Angel Whis immediately opened the scepter and sent a message to the high priest, wishing to report this situation to the high priest immediately. Just when everyone was full of worries, King Kai moved in front of them in an instant and suddenly came to them. He first introduced himself to them solemnly, his voice was steady and powerful. I am King Kai, responsible for protecting the balance of the universe, and you all feel this breath. Then, King Kai's expression became more serious, and he began to tell them in detail about the origin of Majin Buu. The source of this breath is Majin Buu. The king of the demon realm and the evil wizard Babidi resurrected Majin Buu and prepared to destroy the universe. Majin Buu is an extremely evil and powerful existence. He has almost invincible power and an indestructible body. Once, he brought endless disasters and destruction to the universe. The words of King Kai were full of heaviness and worry. This time he was born ahead of time, and it seems that he is more powerful than before. The situation has reached a very critical point. If he is not stopped, the entire universe will fall into an abyss of no return. Everyone listened to King Kai's description and felt unprecedented pressure this time. The evil breath became extremely huge at this time, as if it was going to swallow up the entire galaxy. Although everyone here could clearly feel the fear brought by the breath of destruction, there was no retreat in their eyes. Sun Wukong looked determined and said loudly, no matter how powerful it is, we will not retreat. Vegeta snorted coldly, Humph, I want to see how powerful this Majin Buu can be. The others also nodded and responded in unison, "Let's go and destroy Majin Buu together." So, driven by this strong pressure and sense of mission, everyone resolutely embarked on the difficult journey of fighting against Majin Buu. Cheng Yu, who was accompanying number 18 in the hospital, and number 18 felt the breath at the same time. Even Cheng Yu was surprised and said to himself, "Could this be Majin Buu? Impossible, I remember that the original plot should be similar to Sun Wukong in Super Saiyan 3. Now this breath, let alone Super Saiyan 3, even my Super Saiyan God can only kill him with a few chops." Number 18 noticed Cheng Yu's serious expression, and he also sensed the surprising breath, so he said, "Don't you want to go and have a look, husband? What if this breath destroys the earth?" Quote. Although Cheng Yu was worried, he had strong confidence in his own strength, so he was not in a hurry. He needed to arrange for his young wife first, so he said to him, "Don't worry, Sun Wukong and the others should have sensed it, and they should go. If they can't win, don't they still have me? Don't worry, I'll accompany you first. If something happens to you, I really can't forgive myself." Quote. Cheng Yu hugged number 18 tightly, and number 18 naturally leaned on Cheng Yu's chest, feeling the sense of security and warmth in Cheng Yu's arms. On the other side, the newly born Majin Buu, with his round and strangely colored body, stood there like a small hill full of unknown dangers. His huge eyes looked at Dabura and Babidi in front of him indifferently, without any emotional fluctuations, as if he was looking at two insignificant ants, and he didn't say even a word from beginning to end. And the ignorant Dabura and Babidi didn't realize the impending disaster at all. Their faces were still with greedy and arrogant expressions, they were still shouting and waving their hands, trying to make Majin Buu obey their orders to destroy the planet. Their voices were sharp and piercing, full of endless desire and madness, as if they had seen the tragic destruction of the planet under their manipulation. However, just as they were immersed in their own fantasies, a trace of impatience suddenly flashed across Majin Buu's face. I saw his chubby arm suddenly raised, as fast as lightning. In an instant, a suffocating energy gathered rapidly in his palm, the light was dazzling, and the surrounding space was distorted because of the gathering of this energy. Then, two Qigong waves as solid as substance blasted out from his palms. The Qigong waves, with the terrifying power of destroying the world, roared towards Dapura and Babidi at an astonishing speed that exceeded the speed of light. Wherever they passed, the air was torn apart, making a sharp explosion, and the space seemed to be crushed by this powerful force. At this critical moment, Dapura and Babidi finally realized the danger, but it was too late. They widened their eyes in horror and wanted to dodge, but found that their bodies were completely locked by this powerful force and could not move at all. In that short and long moment, the Qigong wave ruthlessly hit them. The powerful energy instantly devoured their bodies, and they were completely annihilated in this endless energy before they even had time to scream. Their bodies turned into countless tiny particles under the impact of the Qigong wave, dissipating in the air without leaving even a trace. The two people who were just arrogant and fantasizing about controlling everything were destroyed by Majin Buu without hesitation in an instant, and Majin Buu's cold eyes did not change at all, as if he had just done something insignificant, and then he said disdainfully to the place where the two people just went. "You still order me, who are you?" Sun Wukong, Vegeta and others and King Kai hurried over, and their eyes were first focused on Majin Buu. They looked stern and full of doubts, so they turned to King Kai and asked, "Where are the two people who resurrected him?" When Majin Buu heard this, he smiled disdainfully and said nonchalantly, "Those two trash wanted to control me, and I have killed them. Next, it's you." His voice was low and threatening, and his eyes revealed crazy murderous intent. Vegeta's eyes condensed, and his aura instantly increased. He said in a deep voice, "HMPH, don't be too arrogant." Sun Wukong gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, "No matter how strong you are, we are not afraid of you." King Kai had a solemn expression, secretly worried in his heart, but also ready for battle. For a time, a tense atmosphere spread, and a fierce battle was about to begin. "Come on, today I, Vegeta, will defeat you. What? You are so arrogant, come on, all of you." Vegeta's eyes were wide open, and the anger in his heart was burning. A dazzling golden light suddenly burst out around his body, accompanied by the crackling sound of electricity, and he turned into a Super Saiyan 2. A powerful breath surged out of his body, like a flood that broke through the dam, stirring up the surrounding air violently. He raised his own breath to the extreme, and every inch of muscle was full of explosive power. Ah! Vegeta roared, and the ground under his feet instantly cracked. He rushed up like a cannonball with a thunderous force, and started fighting with Majin Buu without hesitation. The battle between Vegeta and Majin Buu was as fierce as a volcanic eruption, as if the whole world was involved in this thrilling battle. Vegeta rushed out like a ghost, golden light surrounded his body, and the powerful aura of Super Saiyan 2 made the air around him tremble. His eyes spewed out angry flames, and his clenched fists were like thunder, and he smashed towards Majin Buu with an unstoppable momentum. Majin Buu's round body seemed clumsy, but in fact it was extremely flexible. He slightly turned his body and easily avoided Vegeta's fierce attack by a millimeter. Then, his thick arms covered with strange patterns quickly stretched out like a giant python, trying to grab Vegeta. Vegeta reacted extremely quickly, and did a chic backflip in the air to avoid Majin Buu's capture. The moment he landed, he suddenly bounced up, kicked up, and kicked Majin Buu's abdomen with powerful energy. Majin Buu was kicked back a few steps, and the ground beneath his feet instantly sank, and dust flew up. But Majin Buu quickly stabilized his body, a hideous smile appeared on his face, and then he launched a counterattack. His fist was like a huge hammer, with a whistling sound, and he slammed towards Vegeta. Vegeta was not afraid, crossed his arms, and took the heavy blow. The huge impact force made his feet leave 2 deep marks on the ground. Vegeta roared and took the initiative to attack again. His boxing skills were like a storm, and each punch contained his endless anger and powerful strength. Majin Buu was not to be outdone. He kept twisting his body to avoid Vegeta's attacks at various weird angles, and he could also quickly fight back. For a while, the battle between the two entered a white-hot stage. Every attack of Vegeta was accompanied by golden energy light, cutting through the sky, and every counterattack of Majin Buu was accompanied by a chilling evil breath. Where their fists and feet intersected, dazzling light and powerful energy fluctuations continued to burst out, and the surrounding space seemed to be torn apart by this powerful force. Vegeta became more and more courageous as he fought, his speed became faster and faster, and his moves became more and more fierce. He displayed various stunts, sometimes flying and kicking, and sometimes emitting powerful Qigong waves. Majin Buu relied on his almost invincible body and powerful recovery ability to stubbornly resist Vegeta's fierce attack. This fierce battle changed the color of the whole world. The surrounding mountains continued to collapse under the impact of energy, and the earth was also shaken to pieces. Majin Buu punched again with an evil aura. The aura of this punch even made Sun Wukong and others on the other side feel extremely strong pressure, so they shouted loudly. "Get out of the way of Vegeta." And Majin Buu smiled and said, "I don't want to play bugs with you anymore. I'll kill your companions after I kill you." After saying that, the punch directly made a sonic boom in the air, and then hit Vegeta. Vegeta's body bowed directly after being hit by this punch, and flew out. After stabilizing his body, he vomited bitter water. "Oh, I didn't expect it, this is not dead yet, but ants are ants after all." Quote. After saying that, Ling Ju shot a Qigong wave at Vegeta, and Vegeta just stood up and saw the black Qigong wave flying towards him, so he immediately gathered energy with both hands and fired a Gallic cannon, and the 2 Qigong waves collided in the air. But the Qigong wave energy quality emitted by Majin Buu was higher, so it directly swallowed the Gallic cannon emitted by Vegeta, and then an explosion blew the ground under Vegeta's feet into a big pit. And Sun Wukong and others immediately flew over to check on Vegeta's situation. Because they didn't have Senzu beans, they immediately asked Sun Wuhan to take Vegeta away first. "Old Sun, this monster's attack and energy recovery are very strange. Did you notice? I have to say that he is really strong." Quote. Bu stood side by side with Son Goku, and felt unprecedented pressure looking at Majin Buu in the sky. After Vegeta was taken away from the battlefield by Son Gohan, Piccolo and Son Goku stood on the ground, staring at Majin Buu in the air, their eyes full of determination and resoluteness. Without the slightest hesitation, they slammed their feet on the ground, and their bodies shot straight into the sky like arrows, and instantly they were at the same height as Majin Buu, and they started a new round of fierce fighting without hesitation. Pico danced with both hands quickly, and the green energy light gathered in his palms, turning into powerful beams, shooting towards Majin Buu. Son Goku used his signature boxing, and each punch came with a whirring sound, hitting Majin Buu like a cannonball. However, no matter how powerful their attacks were, fierce, even if he succeeded in knocking off one of Majin Buu's hands, Majin Buu's terrifying body could recover in the blink of an eye, as if the damage had never happened. When Majin Buu got a little serious, the situation was reversed in an instant. His attacks became more swift and fierce, and each move contained a terrifying power. Piccolo and Son Goku were immediately caught in a bitter battle, their movements began to become a little slow, and their defense gradually became difficult. Majin Buu's fists were like heavy hammers, hitting them again and again. Piccolo and Son Goku could only try their best to resist, sweat falling like rain, and their breath became disordered. But there was still no sign of retreat in their eyes, and they were still stubbornly fighting against Majin Buu, and the belief in their hearts supported them to never fall down easily. Majin Buu's power became more and more violent, and his attacks poured down on Son Goku and Piccolo like a violent storm. Although Son Goku and Piccolo tried their best to resist, they gradually became powerless in front of Majin Buu's overwhelming power. Majin Buu saw the opportunity and swung a heavy punch. The powerful force directly hit Son Goku. Son Goku was blown away by this huge force, blood spurted out of his mouth, and his body fell like a meteor. Seeing this, Piccolo was anxious and wanted to rescue Son Goku, but Majin Buu took the opportunity to kick him in the abdomen. Piccolo groaned in pain and was kicked far away. At this time, Son Goku and Piccolo were both seriously injured and weak. Majin Buu had no mercy at all, and rushed forward again, launching a series of fierce attacks. Son Goku and Piccolo were no longer able to resist, and finally both fell to the ground and lost their ability to fight. Majin Buu stood in front of them, laughing triumphantly, announcing his victory. Son Goku was already covered in wounds, but his resolute eyes still burned with an unyielding fighting spirit. He struggled to stand up, took off his tattered clothes that were almost torn into strips, and threw them aside. Then, he clenched his fists, his knuckles turned white, and shouted to the sky. Ha! Ah! This sound seemed to break through the clouds and shatter the sky. Then, a breath so strong that it was suffocating burst out from his body, and a yellow light flashed by. Sun Wukong's hair instantly turned into a dazzling yellow, his original eyebrows disappeared, and the length of his hair gradually reached his waist, dancing wildly in the wind. Sun Wukong successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 3. At this moment, Sun Wukong's expression was fierce, like an evil spirit, staring at Majin Buu. Majin Buu looked indifferent, and even said contemptuously, "Come on, come and die." His arrogant attitude further aroused Sun Wukong's anger, and a more intense battle seemed to be about to break out again. Super Saiyan 3 Sun Wukong, like a god of war, rushed towards Majin Buu with firm steps. Every step he took was accompanied by a powerful pressure, which made the surrounding space tremble slightly. The moment he approached Majin Buu, Sun Wukong swung a strong and powerful fist, and the fist wind whistled, hitting Majin Buu's face. Majin Buu dodged sideways and punched back at the same time. Sun Wukong evaded flexibly, followed by a roundhouse kick, kicking Majin Buu's chest. The two of them fought back and forth, and each collision erupted with amazing energy fluctuations. Sun Wukong's attack was like a storm, so fast that it was hard to keep up. Sometimes he flew and kicked in a series of kicks, and sometimes he sent out powerful Qigong waves, trying to suppress Majin Buu. Majin Buu was not to be outdone. With his powerful strength and strange moves, he repeatedly resolved Goku's attacks and looked for opportunities to counterattack. For a moment, the sky was bright and full of energy. This fierce battle changed the color of the whole world. If there were still people present, they would be able to see that Majin Buu was even playing tricks on this group of people, and whether it was Vegeta, Piccolo, or even Goku, they all burst out all their aura to fight him. Gohan and King Kai took the rest of the protagonists and the unconscious Vegeta and hurriedly returned to King Kai's planet. King Kai was concentrating on observing the fierce battle between Goku and Majin Buu on Earth. As soon as Gohan landed, he anxiously asked King Kai to send him back. "Lord Kai, please send me back to Earth immediately," Gohan shouted. Gohan teleported with Gohan back to the battlefield, and Gohan immediately came to the unconscious Piccolo, picked him up and handed him to Gohan. No time. Gohan interrupted him, also, take Piccolo who is lying on the ground and unconscious. Gohan did not hesitate and did as he was told. After Gohan returned to Earth, he instantly burst out all his energy, and the powerful energy fluctuations made the surrounding air crackle. He successfully transformed into Super Saiyan 2, with golden flames burning, hair standing upright, and eyes firm and sharp. Ah! Son Gohan roared, rushed into the air, and joined the battle between Son Goku and Majin Buu. The battle between Son Goku and Son Gohan and Majin Buu became more and more intense, and the powerful energy aftermath had already affected the entire Earth. The Earth was shaking, violent earthquakes occurred one after another, houses collapsed in large areas, roads collapsed, as if the end of the world was coming. Mountains collapsed, boulders rolled down, and rivers, lakes and seas set off huge waves. However, the three of them completely ignored the tragic situation of the Earth and continued to fight fiercely in the sky. Their figures shuttled through the clouds, the light shone, and every collision caused a huge energy explosion, and the deafening sound spread all around. Sun Wukong was agile and his moves were sharp, and Sun Wuhan was no less inferior. The father and son worked together to fight against the powerful Majin Buu. Majin Buu relied on his evil power and tenacious recovery ability to fight them to death. In the sky, energy and light intertwined, the intensity of the battle continued to escalate, and the Earth suffered great pain and disaster in this catastrophe. In the villa in the suburbs of Exodus on Earth, Chengyu had just returned with No. 18. Yes, there was really a child belonging to the two of them. Both of them were very happy, but now was not the time to be happy. Chengyu knew that the current protagonist group had basically fought to the utmost, so he prepared to support. Number 18, you should rest at home first. I can't sense Vegeta's breath. I have to go over and take a look. Otherwise, the Earth will be destroyed by them in a while. Wait for me, I'll be back soon. Okay, don't get hurt. Don't worry, don't you know the strength of your man? Wait, I will eliminate those who disturb our two-person life. Be careful yourself. Chengyu turned around and smiled at number 18 and moved over instantly. To be honest, these breaths on the Earth are very scary now, at least in the eyes of ordinary people, and Chengyu felt that the breath was wrong the moment Buu was born. Some people's breath is evil, and some people's breath is very pure, while the breath emitted by Buu is mixed with energy that Chengyu can't sense, and as far as the breath that can be sensed is concerned, this guy is also a big trouble. Of course, Chengyu is still very confident in himself. As for why he wants to destroy Buu, one is that he has disturbed the lives of himself and number 18, and the other is that this Majin Buu seems to be different from the original plot, so he prepares to take precautions in case something unexpected happens and the Earth is gone. When Chengyu just arrived at the battlefield, he saw a lot of smoke and dust all around, which made people feel as if they were in chaos. Their vision was severely obstructed and it was almost difficult to see the surrounding scene clearly. When the heavy smoke and dust were slightly dispersed by the wind, he finally saw the situation in front of him and was shocked. He saw that Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan had been forced to return to normal and lay on the ground in a mess. Their bodies were motionless, and they looked extremely weak. Their breath was particularly weak as a candle that was about to go out in the wind, as if the flame of life would completely dissipate in the next second. Chengyu did not hesitate at all, and his eyes were full of determination and concern. He moved to the side of the two people in an instant, moving quickly and agilely, for fear of delaying even a second. Then, he anxiously took out two precious magic beans from his arms carefully, gently opened the mouths of Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan, and fed the magic beans into their mouths respectively. Luckily there weren't any big accidents, otherwise I would be a sinner. Chengyu thought that if the effect caused by his arrival caused the death of the protagonist and his son, then he would be a sinner. Are you here to die too? Majin Buu chuckled in the air while looking at Chengyu standing on the ground. Chengyu had no power to control Majin Buu, but asked Sun Wukong to take Sun Wuhan away to find Vegeta first. Don't be careless, Chengyu, he is really strong. Chengyu looked at Majin Buu in the air and said to Chengyu with a very serious look. I asked you to go to the Kaioshin first and ask them if they have anything to make them stronger or completely defeat and destroy Majin Buu. I can help you delay for a while. Go. Sun Wukong also understood the seriousness of the matter. At this time, the Kaioshin was watching in the Kaioshin realm and happened to hear their conversation, so he came to the battlefield without hesitation and left with his hands on the shoulders of Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan and moved away instantly. At the moment of disappearance, Sun Wukong shouted loudly. Come on, Cheng Yu, hold on, we will be back. Cheng Yu turned his head and looked at Majin Buu in the air and said. You are not Majin Buu, right? Huh. What do you mean? If I am not Majin Buu, who else can I be? Your aura is very wrong. I can feel that the aura in your body is very strong, and you have never used your full strength from beginning to end. And Majin Buu can't be so strong. At this time, Majin Buu in the air also landed in front of Cheng Yu, and the two people confronted each other, and then Majin Buu began to laugh and said. Ha ha ha, you are very good, but can you stop me? How about this, how about we fight in the universe? We can't let go on Earth. How about it? Cheng Yu looked at Buu in front of him and smiled and said. Okay, I'll give you a chance. I hope you won't let me down. Cheng Yu flew into the universe first, and Majin Buu followed in the universe. The two sides began to confront each other, and then Cheng Yu said at this time. Remember, my name is Cheng Yu, and I'm also an ordinary person. Then Cheng Yu shouted and raised his breath to the extreme. Hey, ah! Cheng Yu's eyes widened, bursting out all his breath, and the powerful force spread around like a surging wave. Then, he began to mobilize the mysterious power of his blood in his body, preparing for an amazing transformation. A bright red light suddenly bloomed, and its brightness was so strong that it directly illuminated the vast Milky Way. The light was so dazzling that it seemed to ignite the entire universe. When the red light gradually dissipated, Cheng Yu's appearance changed drastically. Although his hair was still black, it became more messy and longer, and was draped over his shoulders wantonly. The chest and palms were covered with dense reddish-brown body hair, and each strand was shining with a tough luster. His muscles swelled up, with clear lines and explosive power, making him look powerful, like an unshakable god of war. In the universe, Majin Buu stared at Cheng Yu, who had already transformed. He also clearly sensed the unusual aura emanating from Cheng Yu, a strong pressure he had never encountered before. Majin Buu, who was always arrogant, showed a serious expression for the first time, with a little more vigilance and solemnity in his eyes. The aura emitted by Cheng Yu at this time has spread throughout the universe. Even the protagonists in the Kaioshin realm are shocked when they see the appearance of Cheng Yu released by the Kaioshin and feel Cheng Yu's aura. Even Whis in the Destroyer God realm can sense the aura emitted by Cheng Yu, but still this made Whis angry, so he was ready to open the scepter to see what was going on. Ah, Mr. Cheng Yu, there's something wrong with the person opposite. This aura. It seems that I have to report it. In the vast universe, after Cheng Yu completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, he confronted Majin Buu. The two looked at each other from a distance, and neither of them took the initiative to attack. The stars around them seemed to have stopped flashing because of the tense atmosphere. Majin Buu broke the silence at this time, and he said. Boy, you have some strength, I can give you a chance to be loyal to me. Majin Buu's voice echoed in the silent universe, with a bit of arrogance and temptation. At this time, Cheng Yu smiled, and the smile was full of disdain and determination. Then he said loudly. I'm sorry, you disturbed my life today, and you also hurt my partner. Today, only one of us can survive. Cheng Yu's words were loud and resolute, and his eyes were burning with rage, as if he wanted to burn Majin Buu to death. Majin Buu was furious when he saw Cheng Yu refused his proposal to be loyal to him without hesitation. He suddenly burst out the breath in his body, and the terrifying power gushed out like a surging wave, and quickly spread into the universe. Wherever this powerful breath went, the stars dimmed and the space trembled. Seeing this, Cheng Yu had no fear at all. He had a firm look in his eyes, roared, and instantly turned into a stream of light, rushing up with the force of thunder. In the blink of an eye, Cheng Yu fought with Majin Buu. The two figures intertwined in the universe, with fists and palms, shining brightly. Every collision triggered a huge energy explosion, causing the surrounding celestial bodies to tremble. In the vast universe, the stars were dim, as if they were shocked by the terrifying pressure of Cheng Yu and Majin Buu's battle. Cheng Yu rushed towards Majin Buu like a burning meteor. His fist was wrapped in violent power, with a whistling sound, and smashed into Majin Buu fiercely. Majin Buu dodged sideways and responded with a sharp kick, with a whistling wind that seemed to tear the void. The surrounding asteroids were instantly turned into powder under the impact of this force and drifted in the dark universe. Cheng Yu flexibly dodged backwards, and then put his hands together, emitting a brilliant energy beam. Majin Buu crossed his hands to resist, and the powerful impact made him slide back hundreds of meters. Wherever he passed, the nebula was stirred and churning endlessly, and the gorgeous light was intertwined like a dream. Majin Buu roared, and a black evil aura emanated from his body, which turned into countless sharp thorns and shot towards Cheng Yu. Cheng Yu's body was as fast as lightning, dodging left and right in the dense attacks, and constantly counter-attacking, using fists and feet, and each attack contained the power of destroying the world. The space around them was in chaos due to the collision of energy, and the light flashed like gorgeous fireworks, illuminating this silent universe as bright as day. Majin Buu suddenly opened his mouth and sprayed a black energy wave. Cheng Yu stretched out his hands to form an energy shield, struggling to resist this powerful impact. The battle became more and more intense, as if it would never end. Every move they made affected the nerves of the universe, and even the distant galaxies seemed to tremble slightly. At this time, Piccolo and Vegeta in the Kaishin realm gradually woke up after being treated by the Kaishin, but after waking up, two extremely terrifying auras came. The two were also surprised, then stood up and looked around, and then Sun Wukong came over to look at the two and explained the current situation to them. I will definitely defeat Majin Buu. Vegeta might be angry, whether he was knocked unconscious by Majin Buu, or Cheng Yu felt powerless thinking about the terrifying aura of fighting Majin Buu. Anyway, Vegeta is very angry now. What should we do now? Cheng Yu is alone, we can't not help him. I can't abandon my partners. Pico also spoke at this time. Kaioshin said that there is a divine sword passed down from the past in the Kaioshin realm. As long as you can master it, there should be a chance. And Cheng Yu is currently on par with Majin Buu. What are you waiting for? I, the dignified Saiyan prince, have suffered such a humiliation. I must destroy it. After saying that, Sun Wukong brought the two people to an open space in the Kaioshin realm. Looking at the divine sword stuck in the ground, he immediately stepped forward and tried to pull it out. In the universe, the battle between Cheng Yu and Majin Buu even affected the universe. The breath of the two even caused some planets around them to disappear, and there was a shock in the space. And Whis in the Destroyer God realm was also appreciating this battle. Looking at the destruction caused by the two people, Whis was watching with interest. Oh my, if there is a crack in time and space, it will be over. After saying that, Whis waved his scepter, not only reinforcing the universe, but also blocking the entire seventh universe to prevent Majin Buu from escaping. Is the original Majin Buu so strong? This is unreasonable. Is my coming to this world such a big impact? Cheng Yu agreed in his heart while fighting with Majin Buu. The original Majin Buu can even fight Son Goku's Super Saiyan 3, but he can't destroy him. However, he is equivalent to several Super Saiyan 3s in the original plot, but he can't even detect the full power of Majin Buu in front of him. Cheng Yu became more and more frightened as he fought. It was really unreasonable. This situation is like playing a game, just leaving the novice village and encountering the boss of the entire game. This plot is completely broken. During the battle, Cheng Yu also found that Majin Buu's power seemed to have not yet fully erupted. How could this be possible? It was completely beyond imagination. Cheng Yu's eyes widened, bursting out with all his strength, and punched hard. This punch carried endless power, like a cannonball out of a gun, hitting Majin Buu hard. Majin Buu had no time to resist and was instantly repelled. He flew backwards like an out-of-control meteor and crashed straight into a planet. There was only a loud bang, and the planet instantly fell apart under the powerful impact of Majin Buu's backward flight, turning into countless fragments and dissipating in the universe, leaving only a chaotic dust. At this time, Cheng Yu spoke loudly. You are very strong, so try this. After speaking, he put his hands together at his side and began to condense the breath of his whole body. The energy around him surged wildly, the light became more and more intense, and the powerful breath caused the surrounding space to distort. After a while, a huge Kamehameha took shape in his hand and was launched with the momentum of destroying the world. Wherever it passed, the space was torn into black cracks. Majin Buu was unable to react in time and was directly hit by this powerful Kamehameha. In an instant, the light shone, and a huge explosion resounded throughout the universe. Cheng Yu looked in that direction and saw that Majin Buu was blown into countless fragments by the explosion of Kamehameha, floating in the universe. He just breathed a sigh of relief, but after a while, those fragments began to gather in front of Cheng Yu. In the flash of light, Majin Buu returned to his original appearance, unscathed. Majin Buu also spoke at this time, his voice full of ridicule and arrogance. Do you think you can destroy me? Let me tell you, it's impossible. Your attack has no effect on me. Cheng Yu was also a little surprised in his heart, knowing that his energy may be dozens of times more powerful than the original Plot's spirit bomb, and it still can't be destroyed. Since this can't destroy you, then come on, the second round. Cheng Yu lifted the Super Saiyan 4 transformation at this time and returned to normal. He stood there quietly, then closed his eyes and took a deep breath, as if accumulating some mysterious power. Then, he suddenly opened his eyes, and in an instant, his whole body burst into a brilliant blue light. Light up in the middle of the battle, his hair and eyebrows turned into a clear sky blue, and his pupils turned into a deep dark blue, like an endless deep sea. At the same time, he was surrounded by blue aura and star-shaped particles unique to the breath of God. Those particles flashed with mysterious light, like a dream. The blue air waves were like surging waves, surrounding Cheng Yu's body one after another, making him look like a god of war from the realm of God, majestic and inviolable. Super Saiyan Blue is here. Cheng Yu made a martial arts gesture, signaling Majin Buu to attack. In the Kaioshin realm, the protagonists were anxiously watching this fierce battle. When Cheng Yu lifted his transformation and returned to normal, they all felt that Cheng Yu's breath weakened, and then disappeared. Everyone's face was instantly filled with fear and worry, because they did not see the battle with their own eyes, and they all mistakenly thought that Cheng Yu had been brutally killed by Majin Buu. The scene was plunged into a heavy atmosphere of sadness, some people clenched their fists, and some people had tears in their eyes. Just then, King Kai hurried over. He explained with a serious look. Cheng Yu's breath disappeared not because he encountered an accident, but because his breath turned into the breath of God, which is difficult for mortals to feel. Hearing this, the protagonists were stunned at first, and then a glimmer of hope gradually appeared on their faces. After Cheng Yu transformed into Super Saiyan Blue, the whole person seemed to be shrouded in a layer of mysterious and powerful blue light, exuding an extraordinary and awe-inspiring aura. His resolute eyes were like a burning torch, staring at Majin Buu closely, without the slightest retreat or fear. He flashed, and rushed towards his opponent at an astonishing speed like a blue lightning that cut through the darkness, instantly starting a new round of thrilling battles. Cheng Yu's speed was extremely fast, turning into a series of dreamlike blue phantoms, making it difficult to capture his true position. Each of his attacks was accompanied by a fierce gust of wind, and each punch hit the flesh, making a deafening impact. Sometimes he swung a strong and powerful straight punch, hitting Majin Buu like a cannonball. Sometimes he kicked a flying kick as fast as the wind, carrying a tidal wave of momentum. Majin Buu was not to be outdone, his huge body twisted flexibly, and he used various strange and powerful moves to fight back. He either stretched out his thick arms to try to catch Cheng Yu's attack, or suddenly opened his mouth and sprayed black energy waves to try to block Cheng Yu's attack. The battle between the two became more and more intense, and the surrounding space was constantly distorted and deformed by the powerful energy impact, as if it would collapse at any time. Cheng Yu roared, raising his own strength to the extreme, and every time he exerted force, the surrounding space was rippled. A brilliant blue light burst out from his fists and feet, like a bright star exploding. The evil black aura on Majin Buu became stronger and stronger, surging like billowing black smoke. The two completely different forces collided with each other, bursting out a dazzling light like fireworks, illuminating the dark space, and making this battle even more thrilling and exciting. In this fight, Cheng Yu obviously found that after he hit Majin Buu's body, Majin Buu's recovery speed was obviously not as fast as before. Cheng Yu's eyes condensed, and Ling Ju's divine energy instantly wrapped around his fist. The divine energy was like a brilliant blue flame, burning on his fist, emitting a powerful breath that made people's heart palpitate. His body was like lightning, rushing towards Majin Buu at a lightning speed, and suddenly swung a punch containing endless power. This punch was as powerful as a bamboo, with an unstoppable momentum, and hit Majin Buu's body fiercely. Majin Buu had no time to make an effective defense, and was directly hit by this violent punch. His body was instantly twisted and deformed, and he let out a painful howl, and then flew backwards at a very fast speed like a cannonball that was hit. There was only a loud bang, and Majin Buu hit a planet heavily. The huge impact caused a bottomless pit to appear on the planet in an instant, the surrounding rocks collapsed, dust flew, and the whole planet trembled under this powerful force. Cheng Yu and Majin Buu confronted each other in the vast universe, and their figures were particularly eye-catching against the backdrop of the brilliant galaxy. Majin Buu stood up this time and did not rush out to attack Cheng Yu again, but confronted Cheng Yu on the ground of this planet. Cheng Yu stood tall, and his Super Saiyan blue form made him exude a mysterious and powerful blue light. His eyes were firm and sharp, staring at Majin Buu in front of him, and every muscle in his body was tense, as if ready to burst out amazing power at any time. Majin Buu was huge, with a distorted shape, and exuded a rolling black evil breath, which seemed to be able to devour all light. On his hideous face, a pair of blood-red eyes were full of violence and arrogance, staring at Cheng Yu, as if looking for the opponent's flaws. In this silent and oppressive universe, neither of them moved first, but just stood there quietly. But the stars around seemed to be able to feel the terrifying power that was about to erupt, and the light became much dimmer. The reason why Majin Buu did not move was that he found that his body would be hurt a little after being hit by the divine energy. This was different from ordinary breath. If he was shattered into pieces, then this time he would not recover as quickly as before, because the breath used was completely different. Cheng Yu also discovered the same thing, but he did not take action because the damage he could cause was limited. Cheng Yu was thinking about whether there was a way to directly destroy him at one time without leaving any ash, so that he could be completely destroyed, otherwise he would fail completely. Then, Majin Buu took the lead. He roared to the sky, and every cell in his body was frantically releasing energy. It was an extremely terrifying black energy that rushed out like a surging black tide. This black energy spread rapidly, even dyeing the entire universe with a thick layer of black, as if it was going to swallow up all the light. Moreover, the planet under Majin Buu's feet, under this destructive force, instantly turned into nothingness and disappeared directly into the universe, without even a trace of residue left. Cheng Yu also keenly discovered that something was wrong. He frowned and his eyes revealed an unprecedented solemnity. Without the slightest hesitation, he flashed and immediately rushed forward to fight Majin Buu again. This time, Majin Buu seemed to have been reborn, his strength soared, and he completely suppressed Cheng Yu. Every move of his was full of violence and ferocity, which made Cheng Yu overwhelmed. Moreover, Majin Buu's fighting style was completely different from before, as if he had changed a person. Obviously, Cheng Yu's attack could cause some damage to him, but he seemed not to feel it, and didn't care about the pain at all, and attacked Cheng Yu frantically. He was like a beast that had lost his mind, completely ignoring his own injuries, and only wanted to completely defeat the enemy in front of him. This style of fighting, which hurts the enemy by 1,000 and hurts oneself by 800, put Cheng Yu in an extreme dilemma. Cheng Yu's physical strength and energy were rapidly consumed by Majin Buu's desperate attack, and the situation became increasingly unfavorable to him. Another long time passed, and time seemed to become extremely long in this fierce battle. At this time, Cheng Yu was completely trapped in the dilemma of being suppressed by Majin Buu. Every attack of Majin Buu was full of overwhelming force, and Cheng Yu could only parry with difficulty, but could not effectively counterattack. His body was subjected to wave after wave of heavy blows, as if he was a lonely boat swaying in the wind and waves. As the battle continued, Cheng Yu's originally powerful and dazzling divine aura it began to gradually weaken. The blue light that was once as bright as the Milky Way was now like a candle in the wind, flickering and becoming dimmer and dimmer. Cheng Yu's forehead was already covered with beads of sweat, which kept sliding down his resolute face. His breathing was rapid and heavy, and every breath seemed to have exhausted all his strength. His eyes revealed a trace of deep fatigue and helplessness, but his inner fighting spirit had never been extinguished. He still gritted his teeth tightly and refused to bow to fate easily. His eyes searched around eagerly, trying to find a chance to fight back from this seemingly flawless suppression. Even if there was only a glimmer of hope, he would never give up. Finally, at this moment, time seemed to have stopped all over the world, and everything became silent. Majin Buu burst out with surging black energy all over his body, and the energy was like a dark vortex, spinning and gathering wildly. Then, a huge energy bomb condensed in his hand, with the breath of destroying everything, and shot towards Chengyu rapidly. With a loud bang, the energy bomb hit Chengyu accurately and exploded instantly. The light was so dazzling that it seemed to engulf the entire universe. Chengyu had no power to resist under this huge impact, and he was blown away like a kite with a broken string. He fell heavily on the ground of a planet not far away, creating a huge deep pit. The dust raised covered the sky and the sun, making it difficult to see his figure. The blue flame surrounding Chengyu's body was getting dimmer and dimmer, and the originally bright light was now so weak that it was almost imperceptible, like a candle in the wind that could go out at any time. Ha ha ha, you ants still want to destroy me. Wait, I want you to die in my hands, and then watch your friends and family all destroyed in my hands. By the way, I will bleed your family, even your children, in front of you, and then kill them. Ha ha ha. Majin Buu laughed in the universe, and at this moment Chengyu slowly stood up, with no smile on his lips, only blood. Chengyu felt the ridicule of Majin Buu at this time, and then reacted when he heard the child, and then said to himself, "Oh my, this is the first time I've been looked down upon by others, and threatened." Then Chengyu staggered to his feet, stood and looked at Majin Buu in the universe, then took out a senzu bean and swallowed it, and his physical injuries and physical strength were immediately restored. Then, Chengyu said loudly, "I said, whether you are Majin Buu or not, I can't lose this time. Hey, ah." Chengyu clenched his fists, his knuckles turned pale due to excessive force, and the power of his whole body burst out instantly, and a surging blue breath gushed out of his body. This blue breath was powerful and violent, gradually wrapping Chengyu tightly, forming a huge ball. Then, Chengyu screamed again, and the sound seemed to penetrate the endless universe. His forehead was bulging with blue veins, the muscles on his face were tense, and his originally clear eyes were now full of bloodshot. The blue ball-shaped light began to flow slowly and was gradually absorbed by Chengyu crazily. The blue flames around Chengyu's body burned more vigorously at this time, like a raging fire, hot and dazzling. Moreover, lightning shuttled and jumped beside him, crackling. His hair became sharper, standing up like sharp spikes, and each strand of hair flashed with blue electric light. His facial lines became tougher, and his chin was slightly raised, revealing an indomitable domineering aura. Chengyu looked at Majin Buu in the universe expressionlessly, his eyes were as cold as 1,000 years of ice, without the slightest emotional fluctuation, only endless firmness and determination, as if announcing that he would definitely defeat the powerful enemy in front of him. Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 is here. Whis, who was far away in the Destruction God realm, was also very happy to see Chengyu now, and then said to himself, "Oh my, this time it can be solved." Chengyu no longer had any nonsense this time, and a trace of determination and coldness flashed in his resolute eyes, and the whole person's aura instantly became extremely sharp. He flashed and disappeared from the spot like a ghost. In an instant, a dazzling blue light flashed across the universe at a jaw-dropping speed, and he had instantly moved behind Majin Buu. Without even the slightest hesitation, Chengyu instantly condensed an energy bomb in his hand. This energy bomb flashed with dazzling blue light, containing terrifying power that made people shudder. Just when Majin Buu was still immersed in the rhythm of the battle just now and had not yet reacted, the energy bomb had already exploded tightly against his body. Bang! With a loud bang, the huge impact force made Majin Buu's body tremble violently, and the black energy on his body was temporarily disordered. Then, Chengyu's straight punch with endless anger and blazing blue flames was as fast as thunder. His arm muscles were tense, and the veins were bulging. This punch seemed to condense all his strength and anger. There was a bang sound, and it hit Majin Buu's back firmly. Majin Buu's body instantly lost balance, like a cannonball hit by a strong force, flying forward at an astonishing speed, drawing a long and shocking trajectory in the vast universe. However, Chengyu's attack did not stop there. He quickly closed his hands, and his movements were smooth and smooth. A blue light began to gather in his palm, and the light became stronger and stronger, and the powerful Kamehameha took shape instantly. The light of Kamehameha illuminated the dark space around it, and with endless power and Cheng Yu's firm determination, it shot rapidly in the direction where Majin Buu flew backwards. The light was dazzling, like a ray of hope that cut through the darkness, chasing Majin Buu straight, vowing to defeat him completely. Majin Buu struggled to get up in the aftermath of the powerful attack, his eyes burning with unyielding anger, like a trapped beast that refused to admit defeat, rushing towards Cheng Yu regardless of everything. And this time Cheng Yu did not hold back and burst out with all his strength. The blue flame on his body burned again, and the light was as dazzling as the stars in the universe. Cheng Yu met the rushing Majin Buu and instantly launched a fierce battle. Every collision erupted with amazing energy fluctuations. But this time, the situation was completely reversed, and Majin Buu was knocked out by Cheng Yu again and again. Every punch of Cheng Yu contained the power to destroy the world, and Majin Buu could not resist it at all. His body was like a leaf swept by a strong wind, constantly rolling and flying in the universe. And this time, Cheng Yu gathered all the energy in the universe to form Kamehameha in his hands, and this energy even illuminated the entire universe. Come on, this is the last blow between us. This time I win. Hey, ah! Cheng Yu's Kamehameha was like an unstoppable blue torrent, rushing towards the direction of Majin Buu's backward flight with a devastating force. Majin Buu tried to struggle and resist in the face of this powerful attack, but he had previously suffered a series of fierce blows from Cheng Yu, and now he seemed powerless. Kamehameha hit Majin Buu accurately, and the light instantly engulfed his entire body. Majin Buu let out a painful and desperate roar, and the black energy on his body began to disintegrate under the impact of the blue light. Powerful energy fluctuations stirred in the universe, and the surrounding stars were shaken by this power and their light flickered. Majin Buu's body gradually became transparent in the light, and finally turned into countless black fragments, dissipating in the endless universe. With the complete disappearance of Majin Buu, the universe returned to a brief calm. Cheng Yu was suspended in this void, the blue flames around his body gradually weakened, but his eyes still showed a firm and victorious light. Then Cheng Yu's blue flames disappeared, Cheng Yu returned to normal, and then Cheng Yu closed his eyes and floated in the universe. Maybe it really stimulated Cheng Yu, or maybe Cheng Yu had not yet adapted to the burden of this transformation. Anyway, Cheng Yu now broke out and won this duel, and although Cheng Yu fainted, there was still a slight smile on the corner of his mouth. And the people in the Kaioshan realm were still training on their own, and no one noticed that Cheng Yu had fainted. Instead, number 18 on Earth looked at the blue light in the sky that had just illuminated the entire Earth and was full of worry. Weiss saw that no one came to pick up Cheng Yu for a long time, so he complained to himself. Ah, why do you need me to do this? Your friends don't seem to be reliable. While complaining, Weiss still came to Cheng Yu at a very fast speed, and then waved his scepter to treat Cheng Yu. Well, the plot deviated too much later. Cheng Yu, who normally has over 100 billion, was barely happy to win in this form. It was so scary. As for later, after Cheng Yu recovered, he learned about the course of events and the situation with Weiss, and then thanked him and rushed home immediately, so as not to worry number 18. As for the protagonists, I don't know if it was a coincidence or the correction of time, but Sun Gohan still broke the King of the Kai sword, and the old King of the Kai helped to develop the potential and merge the new form. Sun Wukong returned to Earth and prepared to find Cheng Yu to compete. In order to receive the system reward, Cheng Yu lied that his body was a bit burdened and needed to rest for a few days. Sun Wukong also expressed his understanding and returned to Baozi Mountain. Vegeta couldn't stand this bad breath, so he fought with Sun Wukong. As a result, when Sun Wukong transformed into Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta suffered another defeat. So he decided to go back and practice in seclusion immediately. After the crisis was resolved, the rest of the people returned to Earth to live, and the Kaioshan also expressed his gratitude to everyone. Cheng Yu said hello to number 18, came to his own training room, sat down calmly, and then began to communicate with the system. Hey, system, there won't be any accidents in the process of the complete fusion of this bloodline and the power of the giant ape, right? How is it possible? This system is the most versatile and invincible system. How could such an error occur? Okay, then, start the fusion. As Cheng Yu's firm and powerful voice slowly fell, it was like a mysterious command, instantly triggering a drastic change in his body. I saw an indescribable mysterious power, like a long-sleeping giant beast beginning to wake up, surging deep in his body. The system now showed its magical and powerful functions, and began to carefully pull the power of the giant ape and the power of bloodline slowly. At first, these two powerful forces were like two incompatible overlords, each occupying one side in Cheng Yu's body. The power of the giant ape was violent and surging, while the power of the bloodline was deep and restrained. They confronted each other and refused to give in. However, under the exquisite and irresistible control of the system, the two forces began to gradually approach each other. With each step closer, the pain that Cheng Yu endured increased several times. Cheng Yu's body trembled violently involuntarily, as if being torn apart by an invisible force. Beads of sweat rolled down his forehead, which was twisted by pain, like raindrops, across his tense cheeks, and dripped into the void under his feet. The fusion process of the two forces was full of fierce conflicts and confrontations. Every time they came into contact, it was like a sharp steel needle piercing deep into Cheng Yu's soul, bringing him piercing pain. He clenched his teeth tightly, his teeth clattered, and his lips were bitten to bleed, but he was unaware of it. The muscles on his face twitched violently due to extreme pain, and were twisted almost out of human form. From his tightly clenched throat, a low and painful roar came out from time to time. The sound seemed to come from the depths of hell, full of endless pain and struggle. However, Cheng Yu, with his iron-like will, endured this inhuman torture like being in purgatory. There was no retreat or giving up in his eyes, only firm determination and unyielding faith, insisting on letting the fusion process continue. No matter what the price, he vowed to complete this difficult transformation. Another long time passed, and time seemed to become particularly long at this tense moment. In Cheng Yu's body, the two forces that originally repelled each other finally successfully merged into one after a fierce confrontation and running in. And just at the moment when the fusion was completed, a shocking scene appeared. Behind Cheng Yu, a huge golden giant ape suddenly appeared. It bared its teeth and claws, and roared to the sky. The roar seemed to be able to penetrate time and space and shake the entire universe. However, Cheng Yu, who was fully focused on his own changes, did not notice this amazing scene. Instead, he slowly stood up, closed his eyes, and carefully felt the earth-shaking changes happening in his body at this moment. He carefully felt the flow of every bit of power and the relaxation of every meridian, trying to fully grasp the new and powerful power after the fusion. Yes, my body strength is very high now, and my system has given me perfect control of my breath. I don't know if it's because of my body's evolution now, I can control my breath more freely, and I can also enhance my breath. Now this huge breath in my body is at least 10 times stronger than before the fusion. Cheng Yu said to himself, and the more he felt, the more shocked he was. It turned out that he was so strong after the fusion. It can be said that Cheng Yu is now completely from an ordinary person to a king who can dominate one side. Cheng Yu's appearance has not changed, but his muscles are tighter and the whole person looks younger. In addition to the control of breath at will, Cheng Yu thought that he could become an ordinary person without breath at any time and anywhere, or he could become a king with vast breath. Not only this change, the most important thing is the improvement of combat power. Now the breath in the body is at least 10 times larger than before the fusion. If the original breath is a wave, now it is like a tsunami. The sudden surge in combat power caused Cheng Yu to still be a little uncomfortable. Cheng Yu now decided to adapt to these combat powers perfectly before trying to transform. Especially the state when he eliminated Majin Buu before that transformation, Cheng Yu didn't remember it clearly after being restored by Whis. He only knew that he had no emotions at that time, and had only one goal, that is, to eliminate the person in front of him at all costs. How to say it? It may be because the divine aura of Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 is very close to divine power, which causes the current physical strength to be unable to bear it, so the burden is too heavy. It could also be the burden caused by the first breakthrough or the use of not completely controlling emotions. But no matter what, Cheng Yu still has a trace of residual memory, and through Weiss's later explanation, Cheng Yu also understood what that form was. It's very simple, the breath and only of the divine energy are completely improved, so the quality of the divine energy is not far from the divine power, so there is such a transformation, and under the influence of that emotion, the divine energy in the body will be greatly improved. Although the emotions are unstable, the combat effectiveness will be greatly enhanced. Cheng Yu couldn't hold on before, maybe because his normal body strength was not enough, and his emotions could not be perfectly controlled. Now the power of the giant ape and the Saiyan bloodline in his body have been completely integrated, so now his normal body strength is already very high under the influence of the power of the giant ape. As for the control of emotions, as long as he slowly exercises later, Cheng Yu believes that he can control it perfectly. So as to master the transformation at that time. Cheng Yu called that transformation Super Saiyan Blue Stage 2, which is different from the Super Saiyan Blue evolution, Super Saiyan Deep Blue, in the original plot. This is a transformation unique to Cheng Yu. Another extremely long period of peaceful time passed quietly. During this period, Cheng Yu always stayed by his wife No 18's side, living a simple and warm life. Every morning, they would greet the first ray of warm sunshine together. At night, they would rely on each other under the quiet starry sky and talk to each other. Of course, even if he was immersed in such a beautiful life, Cheng Yu's practice must not have fallen behind. He knew that in this world full of unknowns and variables, no one could predict what unexpected things would happen in the future. For example, the sudden appearance of Majin Buu this time was so powerful that it was beyond imagination. Who could know how he became so powerful in silence? Who could be fully prepared in advance to deal with such a strong enemy? Therefore, Cheng Yu dared not slack off at all. He always remained vigilant and constantly improved his strength, just to be able to protect everything he cherished in the future crisis. Cheng Yu was lying on the sofa at home today, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything he had experienced. He felt like he was in a dream, but everything was so real. Forget it, I don't want to think about it anymore. I just need to live my own life. As the saying goes, when the enemy comes, the general will stop it, and when the water comes, the earth will cover it. By the way, system, why do I feel that my cultivation of the Saiyan bloodline is not as smooth as the cultivation of the Super Saiyan gods since I merged with Vegito's template? Ding! Because Vegito's fusion was combined with God's portrait earrings, so the cultivation route of God is relatively smoother. And Vegeta's fusion is equivalent to the fusion of two bodies into one body, so the bloodline will naturally be stronger, so it is slightly more suitable for the Saiyan bloodline route. Some people told me that they were confused. I need to explain here that Vegeta was originally the first character created by Old Bird, but was later taken away by Toei, so Vegito was created. And Toei, those who know, the new setting was changed to Vegito. Vegeta is just as strong. After all, he is the biological son, and he and Old Bird have been stepping on each other for a long time. Of course, this setting is limited to Toei. Also, each theater version is set in parallel time and space. You can think of this novel as the same as the original setting, which was pushed by Old Bird, and all the theaters the version is changed to a parallel world, and the movie version of Super, the fight between Broly and Vegeta is not about how strong Vegeta is, but about officially letting the Broly of Super time and space join the official history. Vegeta's performance score has always been higher than Vegito's, but Toei, just watch the anime for fun. You can think of Vegito's power as earrings that cannot bear his power, and a wave basically forcibly disintegrates. Fusion dance steps can bear Vegeta's power. Closing parenthesis. Cheng Yu thought about it, it seems to be true, but it does not mean that I can't practice another way. Even if this road is easier to walk, I can walk the other difficult road after all. Cheng Yu thought about it for a while, and thought about it. Since I can't make the difficult road easy, then the system should be able to do it. Anyway, there is a cheat, who said it can't be used. Hey, system, don't you have any way to help me raise the upper limit of my bloodline and talent to an unparalleled level? It would be best if I could cultivate both the Saiyan bloodline and the God bloodline. Ding, you can do it now, it's just that the other path is a little more difficult, but if you stick to it, you will always gain something, right? Don't always think about getting something for nothing, host. Well, it seems that relying on others is not as good as relying on yourself. Come on, isn't it just about developing bloodline? I still don't believe that, can't I do it? I have everything that King B Vegito has. Let's do it. Cheng Yu was instantly excited, his blood was high, and he immediately jumped up from the sofa, got up and went to the training room to start practicing. So far, the Saiyans who have appeared are Gogeta and Vegito. We are very familiar with these two characters, but we don't seem to be very clear about their combat power addition. Many people think that Gogeta's strength is the sum of the two people, and Vegito's strength is the sum of the two people. Multiplication, I can only say that this is completely nonsense. I don't know which brainless blogger's brainless theory has influenced everyone for so long. Let's reveal the combat power addition index of Gogeta and Vegeta to understand the true strength of the two super warriors. First, let's look at Vegeta. Vegeta is formed by the fusion of Goku and Vegeta using the Batra earrings. Of course, his combat power is beyond words. It's just that their combat power addition index is not multiplied, but after the strength of Goku and Vegeta is added, it is enhanced by dozens or even hundreds of times. The official is not clear about the specific value. The old Kai once said that the Batra earring fusion is better than the dance fusion. Of course, this is only in the past. After all, the old Kai has said more than once. Next is Gogeta. Gogeta is formed by the fusion of Goku and Vegeta using dance steps. The combat power addition index is also increased by dozens of times after the strength of Goku and Vegeta is added, but the increase is not as much as Vegeta. The earliest setting is of course that Vegito is stronger than Gogeta, but it seems to have changed in the later period, and Gogeta gradually surpassed Vegito. First, it can prove that the official likes Gogeta more, and second, it can prove that Dragon Ball Super's combat power collapses, which is the most common phenomenon everyone sees. So please don't believe in the theory of dance step addition and Batra multiplication. It can only be said that you don't understand Dragon Ball at all. Take Majin Buu and Gotenks for example. Majin Buu's combat power is equivalent to level 3, and Goten and Trunks are only at the peak stage of Super 1. If we follow the dance step addition theory, their combat power after fusion is only at the level of Super 2. Super 3 is 4 times the combat power of Super 2, Super 2 is twice the combat power of Super 1, and Super 3 is 8 times the combat power of Super 1. So the addition theory is completely unworkable. From the above example, Gotenks' strength is more than 4 times that of Goten and Trunks added together, but the degree of cooperation between them is not enough, otherwise it will be even more powerful. Goku and Vegeta are different. They love and hate each other. After the fusion, the increase in combat power is far higher than that of Trunks and Goten. In Dragon Ball Heroes, Gogeta and Vegeta appear frequently, which can provide us with more reference data. Vegeta's performance here is too poor, which leads to a decline in Vegeta's support rate. Dance step fusion requires that the breath between the two people must be consistent. In the later period, the tacit understanding between Goku and Vegeta is getting higher and higher, so Gogeta's strength is getting stronger and stronger. On the contrary, Batra fusion has no such restrictions. Goku and Vegeta's breath is mostly different, which is the key to their low combat power addition multiplier. And it is also an important aspect that Vegeta is not as good as Gogeta. These are the analyses of a professional on the internet, which I think are the most reasonable. Then in this book, I directly modified it and set it up privately. Vegeta's fusion with the Portra earrings is actually a fusion to produce a new body that can withstand the energy surge of two people. And Gogeta is a real combination of two people to become one person. In this case, Vegito is more suitable for practicing the God route, while Gogeta is more suitable for the Saiyan bloodline route, because Gogeta's bloodline is equivalent to the bloodline of Vegeta and Son Goku combined. In this case, there should be no conflict. And the last point, because you like to see the protagonist take the Saiyan route, then I will completely merge the two templates into one later, and arrange it on the protagonist, so that no matter what the protagonist practices, it will be suitable. There will be no unreasonable places. In another dimension far away in the universe, Whis also opened the capsule given to him by Cheng Yu, took out the food inside and began to enjoy it. As the fragrance drifted, Beerus, who was still asleep, was instantly attracted by the fragrance, and then woke up, got up and smelled the fragrance, and immediately went out to see Whis eating and ran over immediately, without even changing his pajamas. Hey, Whis, where did you get this food? It's so delicious. Beerus picked up the food on the table and started eating, and asked vaguely while eating. These things are delicacies from a planet called Earth in the Northern Galaxy. The Northern Galaxy. By the way, is there anything big happening in the universe? Whis thought for a moment, then said. Some time ago, someone from the negative universe seemed to have broken through the cosmic barrier and injected that energy into the body of a man called Majin Buu. Then why didn't you wake me up? Did you go and destroy it? Aren't angels forbidden to take action? Hey, Lord Beerus, it's not me, it's a Saiyan. Saiyan. I remember I sent Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta, didn't I? Where's Frieza? Ho ho ho, Lord Beerus, Frieza has already. Planet Vegeta was destroyed. But there were still a few remaining Saiyans alive and they destroyed him. Now there are still a few Saiyans all on Earth. Quote. Beerus thought for a while, recalled, and then looked at Whis and said. That's not right. I remember that although Frieza was not very strong, he should be able to destroy those Saiyans. What happened? Whis didn't waste any words, waved his scepter, and showed Beerus the scene at that time. Hey, Lord Beerus, the Saiyans transformed into this Super Saiyan and destroyed Frieza. After a while, Beerus and Whis finished chatting, and after knowing what happened in the universe, he kept thinking. Whis packed up the food and cleaned up. What was the name of that nemesis? What was the name of Super Saiyan? Prophecy Fish. The god of destruction. Beerus really couldn't remember the name of the person who could compete with him in his dream, so he shouted to the prophecy fish to ask. What's up, Lord Beerus? In my dream, there is a person who can compete with me, called Super Saiyan or something, please help me predict it. Lord Beerus, I don't know this either. Really? Then you don't need to clean your fish tank anymore, and eat half as much. After saying this, Beerus looked at the prophecy fish floating in the air with a smirk on his face. The prophecy fish was almost dying of anxiety at this time, it could do anything except not having food. Yes, I remember, Super Saiyan God, yes, it's Super Saiyan God Beerus. After hearing this, Beerus seemed to remember something, and then murmured. Super Saiyan God, yes, it's him. Beerus suddenly shouted. Hey, Whis, is there a Super Saiyan God in our universe? I dreamed that it was one of my old enemies, and he could compete with me. Beerus, I know about Super Saiyans, why don't we ask the living Saiyans? Beerus agreed, so Whis took Beerus to Earth. The protagonists on Earth didn't know yet, and even Cheng Yu didn't know the purpose of Beerus waking up early and going to Earth. According to the original plot, he might wake up at Bulma's birthday party a few years later and come to Earth, but because of the butterfly effect caused by Cheng Yu's butterfly wings, no one knows that the future will change. If time can be corrected, then the story will be corrected in that direction, but Cheng Yu is not in the plan, so it will disrupt the plan. And our Cheng Yu not only has no idea, but is still studying the Saiyan blood in the training room. Cheng Yu has been maintaining the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, and then feeling the power of the blood in his body. Cheng Yu has been trying to maximize the power of the blood in the transformation of Super Saiyan 4, but without exception, all failed. The original body of the Super Saiyan 4 transformation is equivalent to the body of the golden giant ape plus the wildness of the Saiyan. And now Cheng Yu's normal state is equivalent to the combination of the giant ape and the Saiyan blood, so the physical strength when transforming into a Super Saiyan will be even higher, and the power of the blood is not maximized. In short, the original transformation could be the transformation after developing the bloodline. At that time, the bloodline power was equivalent to a bowl of water. Now, after the giant ape and the bloodline are combined and transformed, the power becomes a bucket of water, and you can't use it all. How should I put it? The method should be right. Maybe it's the lack of life and death battles, or crazy battles that can maximize the full power of the bloodline in the body. It seems that I need to find someone to fight. Cheng Yu was still thinking about finding an opponent, but he didn't know that his opponent was already rushing to the Earth. By the way, there is another thing that Cheng Yu really can't complain about. It took him a short time to transform into Super Saiyan Blue Level 2 again, and even mastered it completely. As a result, the basic bloodline power of Saiyans cannot be fully mastered and developed to the point of God. It's a great shame. In an open space, Cheng Yu, Son Gohan, Vegeta, Son Goten, and Trunks stood side by side. They looked solemn, and they were in tune with each other, slowly transmitting their own heart energy to Son Goku. At this moment, a strange scene suddenly appeared. First, the sun was shining brightly in the sky, and the blazing light seemed to melt everything. Then, there was wind and snow, and the cold snowflakes and the wind were howling wantonly. These two extreme natural scenes intertwined to form a shocking picture. As these strange natural scenes ended, a dazzling red light suddenly emerged, tightly wrapping Son Goku's entire body. The light was so strong that people couldn't look directly at it, as if it contained endless mysterious power. After a while, the red light gradually faded, and the Son Goku who appeared in front of everyone had undergone earth-shaking changes. His bright red hair fluttered in the wind, which was particularly eye-catching. His body became more handsome and thin, but contained immeasurable power. His skin became whiter and smoother like mutton fat jade. His appearance became younger, showing the youthful vitality of a teenager. That's right, this is the Super Saiyan God born from the transmission of the heart energy of 5 Saiyans to another Saiyan. And why did the transformation of the Super Saiyan God come out in advance? It turned out that Whis brought Beerus, who had awakened in advance, to the earth, and came directly to Chengyu's house. Chengyu has read the original plot and knows that Beerus slowly recognized the earth and other people in the later interactions. So don't anger this god now. Whis and Beerus told them their purpose as soon as they came. Chengyu also thought about the earth and made a big meal for them to taste first, and told the two that he was really the Super Saiyan god, so there was no need to rush. For what? It's not for the earth. They must first like this planet, so there will be this link of food. Shengyu shi di si gan wei zi ji sheng bei zi yi ge ren sheng huo kong er shui wei de chu yi yu fei chong da de zuo yang. Dai dao po y xian bai lu si shi huan sheng jie xie shi wu ji hu, sheng yu ju a ta sheng liang shuo bu nang wei mi a j k sheng chu, yao bu ran ken ding yi hu ju mei yu mei shi kai la a. Bai lu si tong yi la, yu shi kai wei yu xian zai chao ji sai ya ren ji xian de dan sheng. Gan shou bu dao chi shi la a. Jie shi bu shi a ni ji qian de na ge bian shen cha bu duo sheng yu. Bei ji ta kan jie yi jing fei shang kong zhang de sun wukong shuo jie. Dui, ni yi ba jia yi bei ji ta, deng po y xian bai lu si a ta jiao liang wan ni yi ke yi bian shen ma. Xian zai ku li yi shi I zo, suo yi ju rang sun wukong kula. Xing yu shuo jie and wei li yi sha bei ji ta shou shi de xiao shin ling. Bei ji ta han jian de mei yu fan bo. Yin wei ta ji dao jie shi jie ge yu zhou zui wei chang da de xian ming. Yu shi yi mei yu wa shuo, ta yi ji dao sun wukong jie ge wu kai, suo yi yi ming bai. Er wei si ting jie liang ge ren de dui wa xiao li yi sha, jia jie kan shang kong zhang. At this time, Beerus also flew into the air, and the Super Saiyan God Goku and Beerus looked at each other in the air. In fact, they were told about this matter in advance when they were brought here, so everyone knew who this was and the horror of the God of Destruction. In the air, Goku came to the universe to prevent the Earth from being affected by the energy of the two people's battle, and Beerus followed closely behind. The shocking contest between the Super Saiyan God Goku and the famous God of Destruction Beerus, two strong men standing at the peak of power, is about to begin. Goku exudes a dazzling and sacred divine light all over his body, which seems to be able to penetrate the endless darkness. His eyes are firm and hot, like a burning flame, full of extreme desire for battle and endless pursuit of power. Beerus is calm and composed, with a majestic face that is intimidating without anger, and the powerful aura that is so strong that it is suffocating seems to be able to suppress everything in the world. At the beginning of the battle, Sun Wukong's figure was as fast as lightning, and he instantly turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Beerus. His fist was wrapped in a terrifying force that could destroy the stars, and it blasted away with the force of thunder. However, Beerus just turned sideways lightly and easily avoided this extremely sharp and fatal blow. Then, Beerus raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a disdainful smile, and waved his hand back. A surging, unimaginable energy wave swept towards Sun Wukong like a roaring dragon. Sun Wukong was not afraid at all, his eyes were wide open, and he shouted loudly, and the light on his body instantly became more dazzling, like a scorching sun. He took this devastating force abruptly. The energy waves on the ground and the void under his feet trembled slightly under this huge impact. Then, he used various exquisite and varied moves, each of which contained his deep understanding of the battle and precise control of power, and launched a fierce and thrilling confrontation with Beerus. Beerus gradually put away his initial contempt and began to take this battle seriously. Each of his attacks contained endless destructive power, as if it could tear apart time and space, making Sun Wukong feel more pressured. But Sun Wukong relied on the extraordinary power of the Super Saiyan God and his rock-hard, indomitable steel will to fight back again and again in seemingly desperate situations, showing amazing tenacity and courage. The aftermath of their battle hit the surrounding stars like a raging sea, and the bright planets were instantly turned into dust under this terrifying power and dissipated in the vast universe. The entire universe was trembling for this amazing battle, space was distorted, and time seemed to have lost its original meaning. As the battle continued, the situation changed dramatically. The protagonists of Sun Wukong gradually degenerated into the state of Super Saiyans, and the originally dazzling light of God gradually converged. However, what was unexpected was that even in the form of Super Saiyans, they were still able to fight fiercely with the extremely powerful god of destruction Beerus. Sun Wukong's eyes burned with unyielding fighting spirit. Although the light on his body was no longer as brilliant as that of the Super Saiyan god, every attack of his contained endless determination and courage. Even Beerus was slightly surprised. He obviously didn't have that kind of power, but he could still fight him with his will. Beerus felt interesting. And Whis on the ground had already made a projection to prevent everyone from looking down on him. Seeing that Sun Wukong had degenerated into a Super Saiyan god but could still fight Beerus, Chengyu was still a little stunned even though he had read the original plot. Hey, what's going on? He's already a Super Saiyan, but he's still fighting. Vegeta turned his head and looked at Chengyu and said. It should be that the energy of the Super Saiyan god has been completely integrated into his body, so this effect occurs, because I feel that his divine energy is still there. Chengyu looked at the picture in the projection and said expressionlessly. Looking at the picture of the battle, Chengyu felt that his Saiyan gene was stimulated. That desire for battle, it must be right, it's infected. Whis listened to Chengyu's analysis and looked at Chengyu with a little surprise, then turned his head to look at the projection. Thanks for watching, please subscribe and support our channel.